look for velocity. The National Weather Service officials who issue these tornado warnings look for the couplet or the meeting of the green and red colors that indicate that there is rotation going on within a cell. Now, supercells go through many cycles. They go through rotation. They rotate naturally as a nature of what they are. However, with these supercells associated with the outer bands of these hurricanes, these tropical tornadoes, you know, they go through plenty of cycles of strengthening, weakening, especially as they move over areas, you know, like we mentioned earlier, as the day goes on, things get a little warmer, especially areas that don't have as much cloud cover. They have more energy to interact when they travel different places. They also encounter, you know, different interactions with the surface. They have different amounts of friction when they go over different areas. So these supercells go through many cycles. It's traveling up towards the north right now, so it's kind of interacting with inland portions of Palm Beach County. And again, yes, this is an unpopulated area. However, with the track that it has right now, with where it's going, it likely will at least get close to some areas that do have a larger populations heading up towards 441. It's just to the north and east of Highway 27. Again, traveling very quickly, 30 miles an hour up towards the north. It eventually will get close to Lake Okeechobee. It will travel likely along the eastern side of Lake Okeechobee. It includes only Palm Beach County, and it includes a Belle Glade in this active tornado warning that is in effect for another about 10 minutes. If the scan keeps showing this good of a signature of rotation, they'll likely continue to keep with this tornado warning, issue another polygon as the storm continues to travel very quickly, because, you know, with how quickly these storms travel in relation to the outer bands of Milton, you know, the polygons quickly become irrelevant because of how fast they're moving. So they need to, they keep up with these tornado warnings. They issue new boxes. We have green, red on velocity. We have on our radar imagery, we have a pretty good signature in terms of that hook echo. Jen, what do you think? What do we think about that reflectivity signature?
Yeah, this is looking. Yeah, it is impressive on the velocity scan.
Yes.
This is a look at our radar. I'm not seeing much of a hook. Let me see if I can pinpoint an exact radar site that we can get to kind of show you what we're looking at, because we'll take a look at Palm Beach County's one. So there is some rotation within this, and it is kind of showing that kind of signal, but notice the lightning activity has kind of decreased with this individual thunderstorm. So that can indicate, you know, it's not strengthening anymore. And in that individual hook that we probably saw earlier on this radar loop is starting to even out. So that is looking a little less impressive right now. But if I get a velocity scan on this, I can kind of show you what we're looking at too. So again, this tornado warning has been issued for inland Palm Beach County. I know this is away from the metro area, and it does not include Metro Palm Beach County, does not include the West Palm Beach area, and it doesn't include the Treasure Coast. But we've had multiple cells today. Oh, that's an impressive hook echo over there.
Yeah.
So look at this hook echo that I'm looking at here. This is not in our viewing area, but our signal is strong enough where those in Clewiston and Moorhaven can see us right now. That is an impressive hook echo that is showing heading towards Highway 27, and I'll even put a velocity scan on this and get that. You can see the purple because the storm is moving very quick because the general motion of all of the storms are. I'll kind of even this out so you can see what we're talking about. And here is a look at that individual.
Wow.
So there we go. So that you can see very bright colors close together here. That indicates signs of strong rotation. And we even saw it on that hook echo imagery that kind of shows a hook. It shows kind of the wind in it and the you know, the downdrafts within the thunderstorm, Charlotte.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of when in school they talk to us a lot about what to look at on radar when you are trying to detect tornadoes. And for this velocity scan, we look for that couplet. We look for the meeting of the green and red. In the reflectivity, because of the rotation of the storm, and also, you know, you just diagram out a storm, you have the downdrafts, you have the updrafts. The updrafts kind of sneak right into kind of where in between the hook and the kind of back end of the supercell itself. So you have that kind of random area that looks like nothing's going on, which is the part of the actual like in the hook itself. And so it looks like nothing is going on because that's where air is rising. What we look for when reflectivity is detected, it's when something's coming down. So that's just a meteorology lesson for all of you. So we are getting a decent hook signature on this cell.
This one's starting to show some signals again. So
Yes.
this one again is our active one in our viewing area for Palm Beach County. And again, if you are in this tornado warning, we will stay on air with this. It does continue until 11:15. Wouldn't be surprised if they continue it because it is starting to move towards populated area. If you are in Pahokee and Belle Glade, you'll need to be in your safe place, away from doors and windows, and you're going to stay there until we tell you to come out of your safe place or until this warning expires.
Yeah, it's heading up towards 441, 717 Pahokee, the eastern portions of Lake Okeechobee. Just keep in mind there are, likely, if not, a tornado, a very weak tornado. You should be prepared for strong rain, potentially from some strong wind gusts over the next coming hour or so with this one cell in particular. And we'll continue to see cycles of these on and off throughout the days. So we were talking a little bit about that lightning earlier. So we saw plenty of those strikes of lightning earlier. Looks like the lightning activity has decreased, but here's a look at Milton zoomed out. When you're looking at this imagery, you see kind of that eye over off towards the south and west of Fort Myers coastline, and then you are seeing very intense lightning activity, not only in that eye wall, but also in these bands that are traveling towards the Fort Myers area. One thing to also keep in mind for all of our friends along the west coast is when you see these bands traveling in this direction, that indicates that there is wind pushing onshore for a large portion of this storm. So all of these areas right now with the motion of the wind and the storm are getting storm surge actively. The storms we're likely starting to see those waves breaking onto the coastline over the next few hours. We'll see the real inundation come in. And then, it'll be, overnight will be kind of the worst bits of it. So, it'll be interesting to see those images coming up. And right now we're tracking some tropical tornadoes, Jen.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, Milton is well to our west right now, but we have the outer bands moving onshore. And whenever you're on the right side of a tropical system, there is the potential for tornadic activity. And the tornado watch, I want to point out, is in effect for South Florida and a portion of Central Florida and West Florida right now because of this tornadic activity ahead of Milton. So we'll get a closer look right now of the thunderstorms in our area. And we got a considerable tag here. Okay, I do want to cover this, even though it is not in our viewing area. We do have a signal strong enough to get to Glades in Hendry County. And I want to let you know about this tornado warning. It does have a considerable tag on it, and I want to read it off for you right now. So at 11:10 a.m., a confirmed large and dangerous tornado was located near Clewiston, moving to the north at 30 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. It does include Clewiston, Moorhaven, Lakeport, and Harlem until 11:10. So this tornado warning is issued for Glades and Hendry County. This is west of Lake Okeechobee. We have a signal strong enough to show you these images. So if you're picking up our stream right now or picking up us up on WPEC, so we do have a tornado warning that is issued for Glades and Hendry County, and within this one, we are watching signals of rotation. So I'm going to bring up our velocity scan right here to show you what this individual cell is showing inside of the actual cell. So our radars are so powerful that they can actually show the winds inside of a thunderstorm, and so the wind and the red is going away from a radar site, and the wind in the green is showing wind going towards the radar site. And the closer you get the two together, that indicates the sign of rotation. And within this one, we have that signal of rotation. And again, this tornado warning for Glades and Hendry County, it does continue until 11:30 a.m. And it was a confirmed large and dangerous tornado. Was it confirmed?
Yeah,
a large and dangerous tornado.
It passed just to the west of Clewiston.
West of Clewiston. So this again is a tornado warning that does have a considerable tag, and we are covering for you right now. Another tornado warning. This is the main one in Palm Beach County, continues until 11:15. It has shown some signals of strong rotation, and even if there's no rotation involved, and even if there's no tornado that's being produced, strong wind gusts are likely occurring within this individual thunderstorm. And we've been tracking these individual cells all morning long. They started around Alligator Alley, and we actually had photographs, video that we pulled up of these very impressive tornadoes being produced around I-75, and one even crossed over I-75.
Yeah, and you know, we saw a wedge tornado, you know, which, not to get too much in the weeds, but that's pretty uncommon for Florida. You know, those are Oklahoma tornadoes.
Yeah, Charlotte. So I want to let the viewers of Metro Palm Beach County, and I want to let the viewers of the Treasure Coast know right now you're not under the threat currently. We do have that tornado watch in effect for the entire area through the day today because of this tornadic activity we're watching within this one. So the tornado was on the ground near Clewiston. I do want to stay with this for a minute because, again, this is a considerable tag, so it could be producing damage. And I'll actually show one of our products here that shows the potential of seeing any sort of maybe lofted debris within this. And I mean, it's pretty scattered, it's pretty messy. You know, we have a lot of rain in some of these individual storms, and I'm not really seeing it right now, but
no, you know, this is correlation coefficient, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so what we look for on this product specifically is we look for kind of differences in the sizes of things that the radar's detecting. So how radars work is they send out a beam, if it hits something, it comes back, but it's able to detect kind of the size of what it hit. So if it's hitting something that's a different size, i.e. debris, it can tell that, and it will send a signal back to the radar, you know, saying, hey, you know, something's a little out of the ordinary. So with most of this, you're seeing rain. But then with the difference that the different signals that you get, sometimes you get this signature that there is debris. You know, there's something significantly different than rain. It's, you know, so that's what.
Yeah, this can kind of show how turbulent the atmosphere is within the cell, and it can show that kind of the high wind shear that's involved. So that does signal, you know, whenever you have a high shear environment, that tornadoes can happen, and that's we are in a high shear environment. We have, of course, Milton to our west right now, and we have a frontal boundary to our north. So we have a lot of competing winds going on right now, and that upper level wind shear is what's steering Milton. So once it makes landfall, it is expected to make an east turn and head straight over the state. But this individual cell, again, we have tornadoes that has been confirmed by the National Weather Service Office in Miami, Florida.
Yeah, so here's Clewiston right now on your map. Clewiston is just to the south and west of Lake O. And then to the north of Clewiston, north and west of Clewiston now, because this area has moved, it's now to the south and east of Moorhaven. So it could potentially impact the Moorhaven area. It is traveling up towards the north, 30 miles an hour, so very fast. Good signature on radar, strong signature on radar rather, of rotation, indicating to us that there is, you know, something going on. It might not, and they did, you know, confirm a tornado to the west of Clewiston. And Jen, what are you hearing now?
Yeah, so we got a new tornado warning that was issued for Palm Beach County, so we're going to cover this one for just a second. So this tornado warning does include Central Palm Beach County and Western Palm Beach County. It includes Belle Glade and Pahokee now. So that was that same cell we were tracking in Central Palm Beach County to the east of Highway 27 and to the southeast right now of Belle Glade, and this goes until 11:45. So if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you're in Belle Glade and Pahokee, you'll want to be in your safe place and stay there until this individual tornado warning expires. So I want to read the National Weather Service bulletin on this. They are requesting immediate bulletin for a severe thunderstorm at 11:14 capable of producing a tornado that was located 7 miles east of Belle Glade Camp, or 7 miles southwest of Belle Glade, moving north at 35 miles per hour. But some of these cells, I've noticed, have been moving a bit faster than these estimated speeds, and it does include Belle Glade, Pahokee, Canal Point, Belle Glade Camp, Fremd Village, Paget Island. So if you're in these areas, you'll want to head to your safe place and stay there until this tornado warning expires. It includes the 6 Mile Bend and the 20 Mile Bend just south of Highway 441 in central Palm Beach County. And this is an impressive signature going on right now, Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, green, red, get under the bed. If you are anywhere, even Belle Glade, Pahokee, get ready, get to your safe place now because the storm is traveling very fast. You know, they're measuring 35 miles an hour with their radar, but keep in mind, you know, they're using a combination of radars, but their radar in Miami is pretty far to our south. So it's likely moving, I would guess, a little bit closer to 40 miles an hour, Jen. What do you think?
Yeah, I put a speed on 45 just to give people a quicker heads up so that if it does move into your area faster than the estimated speed, you'll have that heads up to get to your safe place. So Pahokee, particularly in Port Mayaca, you'll want to stay in your safe place and stay there until this warning expires, or we tell you, hey, it's okay to come out of your safe place. Yeah,
so right now, 11:20, if you're anywhere along 6 Mile Bend or heading towards that area, don't. That is when that tornado or this tornadic warn cell will head up towards that area. And again, this did have a history of producing tornadoes, which is why they're highlighting it. It was looking like 11:38 further up in Pahokee. We're seeing a slight hook echo signature, lots of lightning though embedded within the kind of larger rain the outer corner of this the cell particularly.
Okay, I got an update from the NWS Miami office. Someone said Supercell just to the east of Belle Glade exhibiting another jump in lightning and a better defined hook echo, which is kind of what we're seeing right now, Charlotte.
Yeah. So, you know, when, again, I did my research on this in undergrad, so it's time for me to nerd out for a second. A lightning jump is when you have a rapid increase in the amount of lightning flashes you see over a short amount of time, hence a jump in the lightning amounts. So that indicates that there are really strong updrafts, which is what you see in kind of this portion where there's not a lot of reflectivity going on in the inland portions of Palm Beach County. So the updraft, you're getting some of the friction up against some of the area, the particles in the cloud, and that's how we get lightning. It's generally updrafts, friction, downdrafts, whatever, those things. And then lightning strikes, that indicates to us, okay, you know, there's this really strong updraft. But you need updrafts, you need downdrafts in the cell to produce tornadoes. So when we see that there's a rapid increase in those lightning flashes in a short amount of time, it signals to the National Weather Service on their programming that this cell is strengthening, very strong, has the ability of producing severe weather, whether that be tornadoes, whether that be downdrafts, whether that be strong straight line winds, even some hail. This cell, we're not worried about hail, but what we're talking about right now is the threat for tornadoes. So again, this is a tornado warn cell. Today, it will expire at 10:45, but due to the signature, I would assume that they probably will extend it depending on what it looks like when we get to that 10:45 mark. We're gonna stick with it at least until then or until they decide to let it expire. It's heading up towards the Pahokee area, heading towards 441, about 35 to 40 miles an hour right now, heading up towards the north. Lots of lightning, good amount of heavy rain, strong winds associated with this cell, even if it doesn't necessarily produce a tornado. However, it does have a history of producing tornadoes. Jen?
Yes, most of these supercells have had history of producing tornadoes, as we were watching earlier this morning. And the National Weather Service Office, one of the radar operators, they're the ones that issue the warnings. We're not the ones that issue warnings on individual tornadoes. It's the National Weather Service Office, and this office is the Miami office. And he's commenting on this saying, hey, we're seeing a lot of lightning and a well-defined hook echo possibly. And he said he wouldn't be surprised if this produced a tornado as well, similar to the other tornadoes that have been popping up across the area. So this is certainly one that we take seriously. We take all tornado warnings seriously, of course. And so if you're under this tornado warning, that includes Belle Glade, Pahokee, Port Mayaca, you'll want to head into your safe place. That's maybe an interior room away from doors and windows. And you're going to want to stay there. Some of these cells have been producing pretty impressive looking tornadoes throughout this morning. So this is a situation where you're going to want to take all of the warnings today seriously because we have a Category for hurricane to our west. And anytime you're on the east side of a hurricane, you have the potential of seeing these tornadic activity. And we're in the heating of the day right now. We haven't had much rain through this morning to really cool off our ground. So when you get the heating underneath, that produces lift. And then we have a lot of wind shear in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We have the tropical moisture in place. We have that lift in place and the speed of these storms. So this is all the ingredients you need to produce severe weather and produce these impressive signatures on radar.
Yeah, we talk a lot about it in specifically relation to hurricanes, but it's, when you add that element of heat, especially when, we talk about any Gulf tropical systems, it's like pouring ethanol fuel on a small spark, So as these cells push over areas that haven't necessarily received a lot of rain today, they do have that additional heating, like you mentioned, Jen. And then here's another look at our velocity imagery. So again, we've been saying it all morning, when green is meeting red, get under the bed, heading right over 6 Mile Bend. 9 Mile Bend is, in the area that could be impacted by this. East Canal Street is to the west of this area of rotation. Belglade also is a little bit to the west, but still could also see some of those stronger straight line winds associated with this cell. Pahokee heading up exactly towards 441. So if you are planning on heading towards that area, anyone in that area, be sure that you are letting them know to, kind of get out, because the storm's moving very, very fast, heading up towards Pelican Lake. Pahokee, 717. This is in effect until 11:45, and this does have a very strong signature of rotation. So those green and red colors, one indicates going away from and to the radar. So when you see them coupled next to each other, this is what those radar operators, like Jen mentioned, look for when they're issuing tornado warnings, because you have two directions of wind right next to each other. One has to get to the other somehow, and generally that is through kind of meeting the dots with a little bit of rotation, with those curved wind vectors. We see the wind rotating there.
So let's reset, Charlotte. If you're joining us right now on air or online streaming us, we are currently under this tornado. There is a tornado warning that was issued for inland Palm Beach County, western Palm Beach County, and it does include the Belglade, Pahokee area, and that does continue until 11:45 a.m. So for the next 35 minutes from now, we will continue to be on air with this tornado warning. If we could put up that double box again so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is not the metro area of Palm Beach County. This is not downtown West Palm Beach. This is not the Treasure Coast. This is inland Palm Beach County, and we've been tracking these individual tornadoes that have had very impressive radar signatures, and most of these cells are moving from the south to the north, and this individual cell is moving very quickly at about 30 miles per hour, and it is heading towards just to the east of Belglade. But still, we want Belglade to be in their safe place as much as possible within this individual cell. And Pahokee and Port Mayaca, you're up next, because this is heading towards the coast of Lake Okeechobee, and it is heading towards 441. So hopefully no one is on the roadways right now. And we got an image from the National Weather Service office. I want to just take a closer look, and it appears they got a picture of some sort of tornado. Wow. I don't have any confirmation of where this is, so I can't really share the image, and I don't know who took it, so I don't know if we can use this image and even give it to you. But it is a fairly impressive. It is a wedge, and we're asking where this individual cell was, and it's reported across State Road 80. And Lauren, can you give me a guidance on where that might be? Because right. State Road 80 extends from inland Palm Beach County, and it includes so the one that passed west of Clewiston. So it's this individual cell. So this was a wedge. This is a wedge tornado. And so we'll reset here. So this tornado warning was issued earlier, and it does extend until 11:30 a.m. And it was a wedge tornado that moved just over State Road 80, State Road 80, and it passed to the west of Clewiston. And we got a picture of it from someone driving. So hopefully everyone stopped on the roads and let that individual cell pass. This is very impressive because we don't have much rain in the area. We could put up a double box again with me. We don't have much rain in the area. So most of these cells have been easily observable. Most of the time when we get, our classic afternoon sea breeze thunderstorms, you're not able to see most of the tornadic activity because they're rain wrapped most of the time. And even sometimes in these outer bands, most of these tornadoes are rain wrapped. In this case, we're seeing them clear as day. So this is a situation where we have visual confirmation of some of these individual tornadoes, and I can show you a bigger picture of all the tornado warnings that are still being issued across the area. And most of these are moving from the south to the north. And earlier we had image earlier of tornadoes crossing over Alligator Alley, Interstate 75 across Broward County. So we've had multiple warnings issued throughout the morning, and you can kind of see that bigger picture of where Milton is. It's a Category 4 hurricane off the coast of Southwest Florida, and all these warnings are being issued hundreds of miles, 100 miles away from the center of Milton. So anytime we're on the right side of a tropical system, we have the potential of tropical tornadoes. And in this situation, we haven't had much rain with Milton today. So that has allowed the sun to come out. It's allowed the ground to heat up. And so we have the ingredients in place to produce these fairly impressive signatures on radar and even visual confirmation of these large and dangerous tornadoes. So I really want to point out the one in inland Palm Beach County because it has been producing frequent lightning. And this is a situation where it is heading towards a populated area, including Pahokee and Port Mayaca, and so you'll want to be in your safe place, and that is an interior room. An interior room. Think of where I'm going to go. A bathroom. You're going to head to a closet. You're going to head somewhere where you can protect yourself, and if possible, especially with some of the tornadoes that we've visually had confirmation of, if you have a helmet nearby, you'll want to put that on because some of these individual cells have been so impressive. I would not be surprised if it is capable of producing extensive damage. So please, if you're hearing us right now and you live in Pahokee or Port Mayaca or somewhere around Highway 441 to the east of Belle Glade, you want to head into an interior room away from doors and windows. This individual cell here has been producing frequent lightning, and right now it's producing a pretty impressive imagery of a hook echo potentially.
Yes, absolutely. So again, this is a tornado warning in effect until 11:45. Right now, tracking towards the north, going to head towards 441. There's that hook echo, that rotation signature on our velocity that Jen was talking about. The green and red colors are right next to each other, which is what indicates to us that there is rotation within this cell. It's going to head up towards the north. Pelican Lake, Belle Glade, Port Mayaca, Pahokee, these are all areas that are within the polygon, so the area that the National Weather Service has put under a warning for this tornado, or at least for this radar indicated cell that has the potential for producing a tornado. So again, we're looking at our debris imagery, not giving us, that signature.
Let's see if I can get a specific site.
Yes, okay. So at least with this imagery, we're not seeing anything specific, but again, it is tracking up towards the north. It's something that we're definitely keeping our eyes on. And if you are within any of these areas that are highlighted in this red area, so if you are along 441 just to the south or just to the north, just be aware that it is time to go to your safe place, get away from doors, get away from windows. If you have something heavy, like a mattress or, a big sturdy table that you can hide under, those are also other safe options. Heading towards 441, and Jen, what's going on?
Oh, I'm just trying to help out. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So right now, yes, this tornado warning, we're tracking up towards the north, heading towards 441, and then it will kind of just clip to the east of Lake Okeechobee, Belle Glade, Pahokee, Friend Village. Just keep in mind that these areas are going to be impacted by this cell, and if it's not actually a tornado on the ground, likely because we don't have a good image of it, we probably won't get confirmation of that, at least for now. You should treat it as though there is an active tornado on the ground, because even if, again, there's not that tornado, there are other risks associated with this cell, such as the strong and frequent lightning. There's lots of rain, and there's strong winds, which is what we can see here. Strong winds associated with this cell, a little bit higher than ground level, but still. So right along 441.
If we can take down the lower third so we can get a good image of this. It's in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, Palm Beach County, just to the south of 441, where you're seeing those green and red colors right next next to one another. That is where we are getting signatures of rotation within this this cell that we've been tracking. It does have a history of producing tornadoes, visual confirmation of those tornadoes on traffic cameras sent in by other people to the National Weather Service. So just know these cells that have history of doing something, they go through cycles. You know, they drop a tornado, the tornado lifts, but then once they interact with kind of other areas, they have the capability of producing other tornadoes as well. This tornado warning expires at 11:45, and it does include portions of Palm Beach County heading up north towards Pahokee, Belglade. Y'all are just to the west of the cell itself. Over the next few minutes, it will, you know, push to the north of you. Here's a look at the cell right now that is under that tornado warning on our reflectivity imagery. So what you're seeing here, those lighter green colors indicate lighter rainfall, the red colors, heavy rainfall, and then we're seeing lots of those lightning strikes. So there's little white dots in the inland port, or excuse me, the like kind of interior part of this hook signature. That is, you know, indicating very strong rising air within this cell. We're also seeing that very, very clear hook signature here, which, you know, we have the velocity, we have the reflectivity. Using those kind of in tandem, they can indicate, you know, what this cell, you know, is doing, or why they believe it's capable of producing a tornado. Jen?
So yeah, so I want, we want everyone listening to us now, let's reset this. Earlier we had, earlier today, we've had visual confirmations of multiple tornadoes across South Florida, and some of them have had very impressive imagery that we showed on air. And this individual cell is in inland Palm Beach County. This tornado warning goes until 11:45. Now, this individual cell has produced pretty impressive radar signatures that the National Weather Service saw, highlighted it and said, all right, we're going to put a tornado warning on this because we need you to be safe. And we're giving you a heads up right now of what's going to happen. Belglade, Pahokee, and we want Port Mayaca to be under this too. You're going to want to head to an interior room inside of your home, or if you're somewhere, maybe you head to a shelter that was in inland Palm Beach County. I don't know if we had any of those open for Hurricane Milton, but you want to stay in an interior room, and you're going to want to stay there until this warning expires, or we tell you, hey, it's okay to come out of your safe place, because some of these tornadoes this morning have been pretty impressive. And this one's showing frequent lightning associated with it, and the velocity signature on it has also been fairly impressive, and I'll actually bring that up here in just 1 second so that we can see exactly what we're talking about. So you can see that individual cell, and like Charlotte was mentioning, when we have radars are powerful enough to look at the direction and the speed inside of these tornadoes, and they are showing that the red indicated there, that's showing wind heading towards away from a radar side, green's heading towards a radar side. They're so close together, and that when you get the brighter colors together too, that indicates the wind is starting to increase too. And so within this individual couplet that we're watching here, we're seeing signs of rotation. And in this situation, it's heading over 441, and it's moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour. Sometimes you can't really imagine a thunderstorm moving that fast. Well, it's moving fast. So if you're in this tornado warning and you got an alert on your phone, you want to head to an interior room away from doors and windows. Turn up the volume on the TV so that you can hear us, so that we can tell you, hey, it's okay to come out. This does not include the Metro Palm Beach area. This is west of 441, the north and southbound side of Palm Beach County, and it does not include Metro Palm Beach County, but it does include Belglade, Pahokee, and Port Mayaca, and it's just to the east right now of Belglade, moving over 441. It's to the north of the 6 Mile Bend, so it's moving north very fast. And so this is a situation where you're going to want to head into an interior room away from doors and windows.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is one of our tools that we have to look at, you know, for rotation on radar, especially because in this area, you know, hopefully no people are out and about to send us visual confirmation, but we did have visual confirmation before of this same cell producing tornadoes. So right now we have that tornado warning in effect for inland portions of Palm Beach County, Pahokee, Belle Glade. I would assume Belle Glade is soon going to be kind of cut out. They'll probably draw, you know, a new polygon in the next few minutes or so, because this is set to expire at 11:45, and it looks like they would probably extend it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say, Charlotte. So the plan is to let this Belle Glade tornado warning be reissued once the current box expires, and it expires at 11:45. So in about 7 minutes from now, it will expire, but it's going to be reissued. And this is a situation where we have seen that signature on radar right now, and we can bring up the other radar of that actual hook echo looking part of this supercell. And I mean, we are, again, well away from the center of Milton, but we're seeing the impacts of it right now here in our local area. So hopefully we were prepared. We had our alerts on our phones. We had our alerts, so we're keeping a monitor on our television screens to see any sort of update. And so in this situation in Inland Palm Beach County, if you're in this tornado warning, you're going to want to stay inside, away from doors and windows, and stay there until this warning expires, Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we're going to be drawing a new box. So, you know, when this one expires, if it does not include you, if you no longer have that warning on your phone, it is safe to come out, but for now, hang out inside. And again, there are other risks associated with this cell, even if there's not an active tornado on the ground. Lots of lightning. You know, when you hear thunder roar, it's time to head indoors anyway. So lots of rain as well. And even if that velocity signature is not necessarily showing us, or it is showing rotation, but there's not actual rotation, it still indicates that there's very strong winds associated with this cell, very strong winds within this cell that we've been watching. Again, it is a tropical tornado associated with the northeastern quadrant of the Milton, which is out in the Gulf right now. This cell, when we tracked it earlier, is about 180 miles away from the eye of Milton. So we're going to take another look at this cell, another one that we had visual confirmation of right now in Glades County, just to the south of that county line, north of Moorhaven, has a considerable tag on it, which indicates that the National Weather Service uses to indicate the threat associated with this cell. And this is a new box that they've drawn. So, you know, the considerable tag means very strong tornado, potentially long track tornado. And with this one as well, we had visual confirmation. So, you know, it kind of adds to the threat that it already did produce something. Do they have visual imagery? Do y'all know of this one?
Yeah, this was the wedge that we had an image of, yes.
Yeah, so this was the cell that we saw that was just to the west of Clewiston, now moved over Moorhaven, pushing up towards the north, going towards Okeechobee Road. It's just to the north and west of Lake Okeechobee, still kind of, you know, sitting over one of the like kind of outer pockets of Lake O. Lots of rainfall. We have a hook echo signature associated with this cell. We have, you know, a pretty good velocity signature as well. That's why they have put the considerable tag on it. Lots of lightning as well in the kind of downdraft area of the storm. So expect heavy rainfall. You know, this is again not in our area, but sometimes our signal does make its way over into Glades and Hendry County, which is where there's another warning just to the south.
Yeah, and I was going to highlight that because I wanted to come on and say, hey, Moorhaven, you're safe to come out of your safe place, but we have another cell just to the south of you that is also under a tornado warning. So you're going to want to stay there until that warning expires, and I believe it expires here at 12 p.m. So if you're in Hendry County, or Glades County, you're still going to want to stay in your safe place. Now that considerable tag that was placed on the Glades County one is now heading towards Highlands County, just to the west there of the Kissimmee River. But the one in Palm Beach County that we're going to continue to monitor because it is heading towards Pahokee and Port Mayaca, right along State Road 700, right along State Road, just moving to the north of 441. And though that hook echo that we were watching has now kind of subsided a bit, we're still seeing maybe some indication of strong winds within this, and you can see that right there just to the south of Pelican Lake, State Road 717. And
yes, so right here, you're seeing that very good velocity signature, and it's just to the, like Jen mentioned, south of 717, Pelican Lake. Yeah, we can take this full, take a good look at it. So again, hook echo signature may have fallen apart, but the velocity signature is still there. And if it's not actively rotating, we still have very strong winds, but it does look like there is rotation within that velocity cell. So could y'all put kind of a question mark to see what the wind speeds it's picking up, and even though it's a little bit off the ground?
A great thing. Let me take off the our warning.
Oh, there's the new box.
Actually, I'll keep it up for just a second so that we can get the latest box on this.
So you know this warning box, you know the bottom half of it, y'all are safe. But now you know they've drawn it up towards the curve of 441 around Lake Okeechobee. You know the warning is still populating. You see it flashing. So they've drawn it just a little bit to the north of this current box. So they probably are believing that at some point this cell is going to start to fall apart, or they're just going to continue to draw smaller and smaller increments. And
let me read the bulletin posted on it at 11:42. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Fremd Village, Paget Island, or near Pahokee, moving north at 20 miles per hour. So this does include Pahokee and Canal Point. And it does include the Paget Island area as well. So if you're in this tornado warning, you're going to want to take cover, stay in an interior room away from doors and windows, and stay there until we tell you, hey, it's okay to come out, or until this warning expires, and it goes until 12:30. So you're going to want to stay in. This was a radar indicated rotation. So even though they put radar indicated, saying that, hey, they haven't had any visual confirmation on this because people are hopefully in their safe place, not going and venturing out to view anything. This is radar indicated, but the radar signature on this has been very impressive. And Charlotte, the couplet, when we talk about the winds inside of a supercell thunderstorm that have the capability of producing tornadoes, this is exactly what we're looking for.
Yes. Actually, the green right next to the red. The saying is, when green meets red, get under the bed. And that's because, you have wind going directly towards and directly away from the radar site right next to each other. And there has to be some way for those winds to transition from one direction to the other. And most of the time that is via the circular rotation, whether that be tornadic rotation or just supercells rotate naturally, just the way they form. And also they rotate as associated with the motion with the system that they're contained within. Right now, we're talking about the tropical tornadoes associated with Hurricane Milton. So again, this is a warning until Wednesday at 12:30. We are going to stick with this warning, through that point as well, because it is starting to move into areas that we covered that, have people that live there. So again, Pelican Lake, Paget Island, Pahokee, y'all should be already in, if not heading towards your safe place. Looks like with this most recent velocity scan, we're starting to see a little bit of a weakening of that couplet. We're also still seeing the strong winds though. So still treat it as, there's an active tornado on the ground, still treat it as the tornado warnings are all the same. Get to your safe place, get away from windows, get away from doors, lowest level of your home, and treat, because if we're getting the velocity signatures indicating stronger winds, especially normally that couplet that we look for, the winds are strong enough as it is to cause some damage. Okay, so here's another.
This is the Melbourne radar, okay. So just for reference, Charlotte.
Okay, so this is the Melbourne radar site, which is up towards our north and east. So they're picking up on this right now. We're starting to get out of the Miami, their radar site, and with the bigger radars, which we have in Melbourne, we have in Key West, we have in Tampa, we have in Miami, we're starting to get towards the Melbourne site. They kind of pick up starting in Martin County, but we're getting really close. So Pelican Lake, Pahokee, Canal Point, again, this is a tornado warning until 12:30. Yes. These are tropical tornadoes associated with Milton's outer bands. And so it looks like Melbourne has now issued their own tornado warning to kind of pick up at that Martin County line to cover Martin County, which is where this storm will be headed next. That will cover Canner Highway, Beeline Highway up towards Indiantown. Might be a little bit to the west of Indiantown, but still treat it as though, slight variations in its track can happen, just like we talk about with hurricanes. So although it's traveling due north right now, 35 miles an hour, treat it as though it is an active tornado on the ground, go to your safe place, get away from windows, get away from doors. And if y'all have been with us all morning, this is a cell that we had visual confirmation of on the ground. So Jen, what is that bulletin from the National Weather Service looking like?
So it's the same bulletin because it's the same thunderstorm as the one located to the southeast right now of Pahokee and located to the northeast of Belle Glade. So hey, heads up, Belle Glade, you're okay now. You're okay to come out of your safe place because this supercell thunderstorm has now moved to your north and east. So it is no longer in your area, but I still want you to remain vigilant for more thunderstorms for today that could produce isolated tornadoes. Now the main threat though is right now for Pahokee, Canal Point, and then eventually towards Port Mayaca. So this is right along State Road 700 and State Road 717 in inland Palm Beach County. If I could zoom in, maybe I can get some street names on here. Pelican Lake, and I'm not seeing anything else around here, but this is in inland Palm Beach County. Now, the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida, because remember, if you don't know, we have two National Weather Service offices that cover our area. The one for Palm Beach County is the Miami office, and then the one along the Treasure Coast in Okeechobee County, so that's Martin County, St. Lucie, and Indian River County, is under the Melbourne National Weather Service office. And the Melbourne National Weather Service office extended this tornado warning to include inland Martin County, that includes Indiantown, because this individual cell is moving north at about, I'd say, 45 miles per hour. And they issued it for southwestern Martin County because the storm with that strong rotation is lifting north into the county. And that individual tornado warning, which we will stay on the air for there, extends until 12:30. So we will be on the air here for another 40 minutes with this individual storm. I kind of want to reset right now because I just want to show you what we're dealing with this thunderstorm here near the Pahokee area, Pelican Lake and Canal Point. Again, our hook imagery has come together once again and has had signals of fairly strong winds within this too. So if you are in this tornado warning, you're going to want to stay inside, away from doors and window until the warning expires. And we've had history of producing visual confirmed tornadoes in this, and we have the ingredients in place today. We have a Category 4 hurricane off the southwest coast of Florida right now, and we haven't had much rainfall today to cool off our ground. So our ground is warming up. We have the shear in the atmosphere from Hurricane Milton, and then we also have the lift involved, how fast these individual cells are going, and we also have the moisture in place. We have tropical moisture. We call it SLIM. The ingredients you need to produce severe weather. They're all in place right now. So right now, the hook echo is starting to look a little bit more defined. And so Pelican Lake, Pahokee, Canal Point, hopefully everyone is in their safe place. They turned up the volume on the TV, and they're going to stay there until the warning expires. Charlotte? Yeah, so again, what we're looking at, tornado warning right now just to the south of Pelican Lake, heading up towards Canal Point. Pahokee cannot emphasize this enough. It has a history of producing tornadoes, visually confirmed tornadoes. A few of our tornadoes with Helene, we saw tornado warnings. We never got visual confirmation. With this one, with that other cell that we saw on the other side of Lake O, we had visual confirmation from traffic cameras. We had people sending us pictures, which I hope we are not going to receive any this time because y'all are all in your safe places. And so lots of lightning though. When we talk about these cells, even if it's a tornado warning that doesn't necessarily, produce a tornado on the ground, there are other risks associated with these cells. We talk a lot about that velocity, so the wind speeds that we're discussing. We look for the couplet, but even within a couplet, if it's not an actual tornado, you get strong winds. So these winds can uproot small trees. They can cause small damage. We are under that tornado warning until 9 p.m. tonight. So take all of these tornado warnings seriously. Did I say tornado watch or warning? Yeah, we're under tornado watch.
All right. So this warning though goes until 12:30. It does include Palm Beach County and then was extended into Martin County as well. So the wind speeds are, and the signature that we're getting on our radar imagery is impressive. It is, pretty textbook for what forecasters and radar operators at the National Weather Service offices look for. The National Weather Service of Melbourne has preemptively issued their warning to kind of cover Martin County because that's where, their radar kind of takes over. This is right now in Palm Beach County, tracking towards the north very fast, associated with the outer bands of Milton. Those are rapidly wrapping around, which is why we have that tornado threat today. We're in the quadrant of the hurricane, or, we're at least under that tornado threat because we kind of fall on the dirtier side of the storm, meaning that we have the risk for tornadoes. We don't necessarily have the heavy risk for rain, but other people closer to the actual eye of Milton will have that strong risk for rain. But this is what we're talking about right now. So even over 100 and so miles away from Milton Center, anyone in Canal Point, along 441, along State Road 700, Bryant, let's see.
I'm trying to see if I can get a street name. It's not popping up.
So it's tracking up towards the north, heading towards the north. Can we get that reflectivity again?
Of course.
So this is your hook echo that we're looking for, that the radar operators look for, indicates, right here where you're not seeing any colors, that's where the air is rising. That's why there's lots of lightning associated with this. So, it's, if not a tornado, there's still other threats associated with these thunderstorms in particular: heavy rainfall, lots of lightning, strong winds, tracking up towards the north. And this does cover a good portion of our area right now, especially our inland friends closer to Lake Okeechobee. Y'all are under this tornado warning until 12:30. So we will stick with this, continue to keep you informed, let you know when you're, kind of out of the strongest risk for this particular cell. And can we zoom out to maybe see,
yes,
which of, okay, so Cardwell, anywhere 441 along that kind of area that goes east-west, y'all are good there. Now Pelican Lake, kind of going through the worst of it. Canal Point, Pahokee as well. Pahokee, it looks like about 5 minutes you guys should be in the clear, but for now you're still in your safe place, away from doors, away from windows, somewhere on the lowest level of your house, a sturdy structure ideally. And if you fall anywhere to the north of this, perhaps you fall within that Martin County polygon that the National Weather Service of Melbourne has drawn. So you can kind of see at the top of your map, there's Indiantown up there. So if you are in that area, or if you're on the eastern portion of Lake Okeechobee, or even a few miles away from Lake Okeechobee, start having an idea of your safe place. Where are you going to go in the next 20, 30 minutes to protect yourself, keep your family safe, away from windows, away from doors.
So if we were to pinpoint where the tornado could be, it could be in that area right there where that hook is occurring.
Pelican Lake. So again, y'all are going through the worst of it right now. So
Canal Point, you're about
to get it.
Yeah, so if Canal Point, if you're not in your safe place right now is the time to do it. Now is not the time to go out and try to see it, because one, you're in rain currently. You're in that forward flank downdraft right now. And not only that, you're also dealing with the tornado that is located to your southeast. So you need to be in your safe place right now, and you need to stay there until we tell you it's okay to come out.
And you'll probably get a stretch of what seems like fine weather that you might want to go outside. As the storm is tracking to the north, this area right in the middle of that hook might pass over you. So it might seem like it's okay, but do not leave your safe place until the threat has passed. I've heard, when I was in a tropical tornado with Irma, and it sounds like a freight train is passing by. So it's not a train, it's a tropical tornado. And so if you are hearing that, make sure that you are away from doors, away from windows. Jen mentioned earlier, if you have a helmet of sorts, like a bike helmet, maybe a ski or snowboard helmet, that would be a great thing to wear right now, because these are tornadoes that we have visually confirmed. This is a cell that has produced visually confirmed tornadoes when it was pushing up into Palm Beach County from Broward. So that's what we're looking at right now. It is a tornado warning.
I'm gonna bring something up just to see something that I don't see. I saw a little bit of brightness there, but nothing impressive. So for right now, we're just looking at radar indicated rotation, Charlotte.
Yeah, radar indicated, but still the reason they have produced it is we do have a history of this tornado.
I'm
so
getting
again,
that back up. 1 second. Let me load this in. The computer's a little slow. Sorry about that. There we go.
So we have the green and red colors that couplet on velocity imagery. Green meets red, get under the bed. Friend Village, Paget Island, Pahokee, Canal Point. Y'all are kind of going through the thick of it right now. Give it about 10, 15 minutes and you should be able to come out of your safe place. But I would recommend letting this warning expire. Be prepared to see more of these warnings throughout the rest of the day today as we continue to see the outer bands of of Milton pass through the area. Now, could we get a wind speed check on what
Yes, let me pull that up. I need to pull down the Curie real quick so that it doesn't pop up.
Yeah.
And let's get the current wind speeds on here.
Okay, 57 miles an hour. Now keep in mind this is slightly above the surface. It's not 57, 55. Okay. So this is slightly above the surface, so this would be anywhere from an EF0, maybe an EF1 if I were to put an early estimate on it, if they're even seeing a tornado right now, which you probably wouldn't be able to see, especially if you're up to the north, and I wouldn't go and try and see it because, to the north you have the rain going on. But, very strong winds associated with this. So, if it's not for actual rotation going on, there are strong winds associated with this cell in particular. So treat it as though there is an active tornado warning on the ground. Stay in your safe place until we tell you otherwise. Pahokee, looks like y'all should be in the clear. You, still stay in your safe place though, because you have another area of moisture, another area of rain down to your south. Okay, so can we zoom out and get a picture of the warning as it goes into Martin County?
Yes, let's.
Yeah, so right now we're looking at Palm Beach County, right along Lake Okeechobee, but they have extended the warning up into Martin County. So 441 Canner Highway, Indiantown falls within the warning area just because it is within the kind of back end of the cell. So y'all can still see rain, y'all can still see lightning. The storm is tracking up towards the north, so it'll likely just travel north, kind of along 441. Staying likely on land. If it interacts with Lake Okeechobee, that could also impact kind of its strength. I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of fell apart if it got over Lake Okeechobee or potentially turned into a water spout. But lots of lightning associated with this as well. Are they saying anything else about this one?
I haven't seen anything,
okay.
So we will continue to be on air for this. Let's reset this real quick because we have that area of rotation right over Pahokee and Canal Point, and 12:30 p.m. is when this tornado warning expires. We got 30 minutes left on this, so we will be on air covering this, and it is moving towards Lake Okeechobee right now, and will likely hover the coastline there, and will likely hover right over Highway 441 there near Canal Point. So if you are anywhere near Canal Point, if you're just to the northeast of Pahokee, you're going to want to stay in your safe place until this moves maybe into Lake Okeechobee, or this tornado warning expires, or we tell you it's okay to come out of your safe place. Now, if you're in Belle Glade, it's okay to come out of your safe place now because the storm has moved to your north. If you're in Pahokee, it's still to your east, so I'd likely use caution, but this is mainly a threat right now for Canal Point and Bryant, right along 441 and State Road 700 along that intersection. So the tornado, so we still have this active tornado warning until 12:30 for inland Palm Beach County, and most of our storms today, if I zoom out, you can see have had multiple tornado warnings issued on it on the outer bands of Milton, and we have a strong outer band of Milton now moving its way onshore in southwest Florida. This is near Collier County and Charlotte County too, and then the storms that we're tracking locally, we have a new tornado warning. So if in Glades County, if you can get our signal, you have a tornado warning in the northern portion of the county until 12:30 p.m. And then we have another tornado warning kind of inland Glades County. That one will likely continue over the next 30 minutes. But the one we're tracking right now is this thunderstorm in inland Palm Beach County near Canal Point and over State Road 700, approaching Highway 441 near Canal Point. So this will likely hug the coast of Lake Okeechobee here, and if you're over Port Mayaca, you're getting very heavy rainfall right now in that downdraft there, excuse me, the very heavy rainfall in the rear portion of this individual cell, and it's moving through inland Martin County right now, heading right over 441 is heavy rainfall. But that's not the individual tornado threat that we're watching. That is right over Canal Point, and if I get our velocity scan on here, we've been mentioning all morning, when you get those colors close together, that indicates the sign of rotation, and this is why we're telling you to get to your safe place. It's an interior room, away from doors and windows. It's an interior bathroom. It's an interior closet. You're going to want to maybe turn the TV up or bring your phone. If you're streaming us on your phone right now, bring your phone with you so that we can tell you, hey, it's okay to head out of your safe place. And it's now moving to the north of Canal Point and heading right over 441. Canal Point, you still need to be in your safe place right right now because the threat is still there to your north. And again, this has been radar indicated, so we didn't have any visual confirmation of this because hopefully no one is on the roads and hopefully everyone is in their safe place so that you can't see anything associated with it. And unfortunately, we don't have any cameras to show you, but through the morning, we've had cells developing in Broward County right over Alligator Alley in I-75, and we had visual confirmation. We showed it on air of these very impressive tornadoes that were touching the ground. So in this instance, this is a case where you need to head to your safe place because this individual storm, again, we're on the right side of Hurricane Milton. We get tropical tornadoes with that. We're under a tornado watch until this evening. So we do have the threat for tornadoes through the day today. So it's important to stay vigilant and make sure you have your ways to get alerts. Hopefully everyone here got their alert, but it is hugging the coast right now of Lake Okeechobee on the east side and producing very strong wind gusts too, and will likely move its way towards Port Mayaca here over the next couple of minutes or so. And again, it's moving to the north. So if I show you on our radar loop just how fast this individual cell is going, again, it was located just to the east there of Belle Glade and then moved its way north over the Pelican Lake area and is now moving towards the coast of Lake Okeechobee, right over 441 there, and it is heading towards Martin County. And Martin County has a tornado warning issued until 12:30 because of this individual supercell thunderstorm that is pointing at signs of rotation right now and is producing very strong wind gusts too. So we will remain on air with this. The tornado warning continues for another, I'd say, 27 minutes from now, but it's moving very quickly, so wouldn't be surprised if this individual cell continued to be warned even as it enters Martin County and maybe approaches St. Lucie County here over the next, I'd say, half hour or so, Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, you're looking at your velocity imagery right now. Our radar beams have the ability to, kind of detect what the motion of the storm is and also, what the movement is going on within the storm. So the storm itself is moving at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. And then we have that rotation, or we have what looks like rotation right now on radar. So where those green and red colors are right next to each other, the couplet, that indicates to us that there is something going on. Now, what we're not seeing when you play the loop over and over again, normally when you have a tornadic cell, you kind of see the green and red colors start to rotate each other, which, changing wind directions, it's not, just consistently staying in the, so does not mean that there's not a tornado. It just likely means that there's, a little bit of interference. There also could be some now friction up against Lake Okeechobee because we kind of see half of this rotation over Lake O.
And it's a slightly higher angle too.
Yes, slightly higher, of course. It's splitting 441. So, we're looking at this, pretending as if there is a tornado warning because we don't know for sure. We probably won't know. They'll probably, they might send someone out and do a survey. I don't know if they would just do that for a warning. We'll see. But again, this is it has a very strong signature. It has the history of producing cells. We stick with them through the time that the warning ends for our area, about 12:30 right now. Paget Island, Pahokee, Port Mayaca, time to head towards your safe place or be in it already for that matter. Beeline Highway it's going to be heading towards Beeline Highway, close to Indiantown, might not necessarily it might be a little bit to the west of Indiantown, but still there are threats with this cell outside of the actual rotation itself. There's lots of lightning, there's heavy rainfall, there's even strong straight line winds associated with this if it's not necessarily that tornadic rotation. Very strong winds at the surface, likely that happens with all of our, tropical cells that are on the outer bands of Milton, which is what we've been tracking. We knew this was going to be a risk for us until 9 p.m. is when our tornado watch expires. So remember, warning is when we have indication either via radar or visual confirmation that there is a threat of tornadoes or we have severe thunderstorm warnings as well, but right now we're focusing on the tornado warnings. A watch is the ingredients are there, that being that we are on the eastern side of the storm, that being that we are in the quadrant of the storm and we're experiencing those outer rain bands. So, the watches, the ingredients are there. We're just gonna keep our eyes on it. Special attention is paid to the cells as they pass through the area, and then a warning is, okay, it's time to take this seriously, head to your safe place. We saw just a few lightning strikes there. This is, again, a reminder, tornado warning until 12:30. It includes Palm Beach County up into Martin County, heading towards Port Mayaca along 441, Paget Island. I think Pohoke's in the clear now. Pohoke's kind of to the south, so it's time to come out of your safe place.
Yeah, let's reset here real quick and show you what you just mentioned there about the safe place, because we still have that threat in place for 4041 right around the coast of Lake Okeechobee. I don't have any roads on here, but if you are under the tornado warning, you're still under the threat. But Canal Point specifically, the threat is now over. You're okay to come out of your safe place if you've been staying there. And stay vigilant, though, because we still have the threat for tornadoes, so make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Pahokee, you're no longer under the threat for this individual cell. And Pelican Lake, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, Lauren, can you, Freem City or Frem City? Or Frem Village? Freemed or Fremd Village is no longer under the threat right now for this individual supercell. So you're okay to come out of your safe place, but that includes Canal Point and Pahokee and Belle Glade, but it is moving to the north, hugging the coast right now of Lake Okeechobee, and it will approach the Port Mayaca area. So I know that this is an area that has some potential and some potential for seeing this individual cell. And this individual tornado warning goes until 12:30, and does include Palm Beach County. And again, we're seeing heavy rainfall even along the western portion of Martin County right now, right along 441. And it is moving to this individual cell is moving to the north. I'd say at about 40 miles per hour, based on the speed that I've been watching. But this. We have been watching this individual cell producing very strong winds associated with it, and you can see a few lightning strikes too, but right along 441. So Port Mayaca, you're up next. You're up next right now. You're gonna wanna head to your safe place. This is inside in an interior room away from doors and windows. You are next up, Bessemer 2. You're next up for the very strong wind potential and this radar indicated tornado. Again, we haven't had visual confirmation if anything is maybe a funnel cloud is being produced or maybe a tornado is on the ground. Regardless, take every tornado warning seriously. Whenever a tornado warning is issued, that means there is a threat for a tornado right now, and you need to head to an interior room away from doors and windows, and you're gonna wanna stay there until we give you the clear saying, hey, it's okay to come out of your safe place, or until this warning expires, and it expires in about 20 minutes from now at 12:30. So again, we have the threat of tropical tornadoes here today, Charlotte.
Yeah, until about 9 p.m. is when that watch is in effect. So right now, tornado warning, Palm Beach County, southern portion of Martin County, Southwest Canner Highway, excuse me, should be up towards the north on this map. It's traveling along 441, it's heading north. Is that Bessemer area, Port Mayaca, and it is tracking relatively quickly, about 30, 35 miles an hour. It's picked up speed. It's gone through cycles of dropping tornadoes that we have confirmed visually. This warning in particular has been continued from Broward County. It took a brief break when it entered southern Palm Beach County, but now that it's heading up into Martin County and there's still a strong signal on radar, the National Weather Service of Melbourne has decided that they find it fit to have a tornado warning in effect just as a precautionary measure as the storm heads up into Martin County. So eventually, this rotation, it's gone through cycles of strengthening and weakening. So, we're going to keep our eyes on it. Every radar scan looks a little bit different. Can we get reflectivity right now? Yeah. Okay, so this is velocity, so we're looking at wind speeds here. Now this is our classic radar that we look for. This is indicative of rainfall. So those red colors indicate stronger rainfall, the green colors lighter rainfall. You see this hook signature, like a fish hook. And to radar operators at the National Weather Service, that is one thing that they look for in addition to the velocity couplet that we've been mentioning here and there. And so while there's this kind of empty area where it doesn't look like there's any rainfall, that's actually where air is kind of rapidly rising. So if this is tracking up towards the north, specifically if you're along 441 and maybe your Canner Highway right now is dry, but then eventually because of this storm's movement, it will eventually see the impacts of the hook of the storm itself. So that area of rotation that we've been monitoring very closely, that will eventually make its way up towards Canner Highway. So it might look like you're in the clear, especially if you saw really heavy downpours, but that does not mean it is time to leave your safe space. Seen a little bit in the past few scans, and as it moves, we've seen some fluctuations in terms of the rain intensity. That's expected to happen as it moves over the lake. It will also encounter, a new set of frictions. We call it the boundary layer, kind of the lowest layer of the atmosphere. It's a little different over lakes and rivers. So now that it's over the lake, just to the west of 441, we'll see how it kind of evolves and interacts with the lake. But as for now, tornado warning in effect until 12:30 for most of Martin County. Kind of the county line is between Okeechobee and Martin County. You can see kind of in the top corner, right below, right along 441. So wouldn't be surprised if eventually they, if they determine that the cell is still has the potential of producing a tornado, they could expand the warning into Okeechobee County and potentially the northern part of Martin County along Beeline Highway. So lighter rainfall in the northern part of the storm that has kind of moved out of that warned area. We'll see if they decide to let the warning expire. And then if you do have any photos safely, you are out of the area that is in the tornado warning, but maybe you saw something earlier, or maybe you're very, very far away to the south.
Maybe you see damage as you're coming out and getting a visual observation. Yes, please let us know, because we can relay that to the National Weather Service office and let them know, hey, there maybe was some damage around here. So if you're in the Belle Glade, Pahokee, Canal Point area and you did see damage, make sure you either share it with us or tag us in it too, because we can share that with the National Weather Service office and let them know. But I want to point out this individual cell right here that moved through. It's now kind of over Lake Okeechobee and has exited the Palm Beach County warning. And so the Palm Beach County warning has been allowed to cancel. They canceled the warning. It was supposed to go until 12:30. It's now been canceled because that individual cell is now moving over Lake Okeechobee. But the tornado warning in Martin County has been allowed to continue, and this one continues until 12:30. Again, it moved from Palm Beach County into Martin County, and this does include Port Mayaca, but it's just to your west, right over Lake Okeechobee and 441. So this is transitioning onto lake waters. So if a funnel cloud is being produced, or if something is over water, to transitioning from potentially tornadic activity to potentially waterspout activity right now, but it's hugging the coast of Lake Okeechobee, so that threat is still there, but it has been pushed out of the polygon right now, so it's not even in the polygon. So Indiantown, although you're in this tornado warning, the threat is to your west, but we have a few lightning strikes that have been produced outside of this individual cell. So again, not the time to go out and venture to see if you can see anything, because this is far away and it's over Lake Okeechobee. But again, we've been tracking this threat through the morning. Hurricane Milton is located well to our west, and we're watching these outer bands move onshore, and we've been watching multiple tornado warnings being issued through the morning too. We had very impressive imagery earlier this morning, about the 9 o'clock hour. We've been on air with you now for about 3 hours just covering tornado warnings, and during the 9 o'clock hour we were tracking those individual supercell thunderstorms over parts of over Alligator County in Broward County, and we had the visual observation of these individual cells, and the imagery was quite impressive. So these cells have had history of producing confirmed visual tornadoes, so it's important to take every single warning we're issuing seriously, and and seriously, and to take action whenever a warning is issued. So although this was for inland Palm Beach County and now it's for inland Martin County, the rest of the area still needs to remain on alert because we do have the threat for tropical tornadoes today. And I just want to bring up the tornado watch right now that has been issued for most of South Florida and parts of Central Florida. That does continue through this evening because Milton is located off the southwest coast of Florida, and within the outer bands of Milton, we have the potential of tornadoes. And through this morning, we didn't have much rainfall to cool off our ground, so these thunderstorms are kind of feeding off of the very warm ground right now and are producing these areas of rotation. And we have all of the ingredients in place in the form of shear, in the form of moisture, and all of that to produce this tornadic activity. So Martin County is continuing the tornado warning until 12:30. Let me get the radar back up just to show you what we're talking about. And if you're joining us on air right now, we've been covering multiple tornadoes through the morning, and this latest one is for inland Martin County. It does include the Port Mayaca area, parts of Bessemer and Indiantown, but Indiantown, the threat is to your west. So if any sort of tornadic activity or tornado is happening, it's to your west and to the it's kind of moving off. It's moving into Lake Okeechobee right now, but it's just to the west there of Canner Highway. And so we have heavy rainfall now spreading its way into northern Martin County along 441 too. But the actual area of rotation, Charlotte, is kind of just hugging the coast right now of Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of interesting over the next few radar scans to see, what happens in terms of the evolution of this cell, whether the lake, kept up its energy, whether it transitioned into a water spout potentially, or, even if it has just the rotation maintained as it pushes back onshore. Regardless, the tornado warning is in effect until 12:30, so we will stay on air through that time along 441. And, we know we sound like a broken record. We've been repeating the same tornado warning thresholds, over and over again. However, especially with the threat for tropical tornadoes and the fact that this cell has had visually confirmed tornadoes in the past when it was pushing over, when it was in Broward and pushing up into Palm Beach County. So that's why, the National Hurricane Center is putting an extra close eye on this, also making sure, it's kind of just preemptive warning. They were watching the rotation, still has a pretty good hook signature on it as it pushes along 441. It's over Lake O. It's pushing into Martin County. So that warning, it is in effect until 12:30. Lots of rainfall associated with it as well. We've been talking a lot about if it's not actively rotating, which I hope no one is able to tell whether it's actively rotating because you're inside in your safe space. But if it is, or if it's not actually rotating, you're still getting heavy rainfall, you're still getting lots of lightning, you're still getting straight line winds. So, it's still not safe to be outside, whether it's a tornado warned cell or not.
Yeah, and that tornado warning for Palm Beach County has been allowed to cancel. So if you're, staying inside, to protect yourself from this tornado warning, that has been allowed to cancel. So parts of Pahokee, parts of Canal Point, Belle Glade, you're no longer under the threat. You're okay to come out of your safe place, but still remain vigilant for any additional thunderstorms that do develop through this morning. But this individual cell kind of hovering the coast right now of Lake Okeechobee. But I also want to mention, just looking bigger picture across the state, we've had multiple tornado warnings issued because of this system here that we've been tracking all week, and it's Milton off the southwest coast of Florida. And tropical systems, they move through. On the east side of every tropical system, you have the threat for tornadoes. And earlier, the National Weather Service office in Miami, they said we've had 4 visual confirmed tornadoes this morning along I-75, Service Plaza, I-75 mile marker 30. Clewiston and Lakeport. So most of these, and then one potential one that we were watching in the potential tornado very early this morning. This was before sunrise. But so 4 visual confirmed tornadoes and 1 potential tornado that we had some damage around. So, and this is all across South Florida. This isn't our viewing area. This is across South Florida. And we actually had images earlier this morning of that tornadic activity that was over I-75 and Broward County. And some of these tornadoes were very impressive because they weren't brain wrapped, so we were able to point a camera at them along the highway and actually visually see them, Charlotte.
Yeah, so, with these, sometimes when we get these tornado warnings in the cells that we get pop up along our sea breeze in the afternoon, most of the time those are rain wrapped just because of the nature of the beast, the nature of where they pop up. We generally can't see them. But with these, because they're kind of intertwined within the outer bands, there is clearing to the south and sometimes to the north, so you can get that visual of it. I wouldn't recommend trying. It just happened that it fell within traffic camera range, so that's why we were able to take that picture of the tornado as it passed through I-75, that Alligator Alley area. And then when it's to these so with these other cells that we're seeing, we haven't had that visual confirmation, but
so we're getting reports that I'm seeing on Twitter of that tornado-warned storm along the eastern edge of Lake Okeechobee, and
okay.
I'm looking at the images right now. Maybe we can request these images on Twitter and see maybe if we can request them and maybe show you. But I'm looking at them on our chat stream, and there's some visual confirmation, some visual confirmation of a tornado along the eastern edge of Lake Okeechobee. So this is the eastern edge that we've been tracking over the past 40 minutes now.
And this is why we have these warnings in effect, because for these situations exactly, there is a visual confirmation of tornadoes. So, we may sound like broken records to you, telling people to get in and out of their safe places, but with these visual confirmations, it's not worth the risk. You should head to your safe place if you get that notification on your phone, if you see that you are highlighted within one of the red areas that we are showing. We mention your city or a street that's nearby you. So let's bring that tornado warning for our area back up to remind people of, what areas specifically will be impacted. We're still seeing that hook echo signature. Indiantown is included, but right now, if you saw that tornado warning, it's time for you're okay to head out of your safe place. It's heading up, kind of going to cross the Beeline Highway in Okeechobee County. I wouldn't be surprised if Melbourne extended this warning into the northern portion of Markham County, also potentially to include the southern corner of or Okeechobee County, excuse me. But overall, this is a cell that, for a radar indicator, has a pretty textbook image of a hook signature. You also, we've seen the pretty textbook signature of velocity. So again, it's better to be safe than sorry, especially with these National Weather Service offices continuing these warnings. Lots of lightning as well. So, you shouldn't be outside anyway because of the lightning. But then also the heavy rain, the straight line winds associated with the cells if there's not active rotation. But every tornado warned cell should be treated like there is active rotation. This does last until 12:30. So we have about 4 more minutes on this particular warning. It is right now sitting over Lake Okeechobee, a little bit kind of clipping the western portion of Martin County along 441. Yes. 441, as you're heading into Okeechobee County, also is getting some really, really heavy downpours, and those will kind of continue as the storm cycles up towards the north, pushing about 30, 35 miles an hour pretty fast. So, the threat comes and goes pretty quickly as well. But, it's important to treat every warning the same, treating every warning like it is the real deal, because with this one and with all the other ones we've seen this morning, we've gotten visual confirmation. So this is a look at our velocity imagery. Again, it's showing our winds to and from the radar. We're kind of in a weird area with relation to the radar sites. There we go. Yeah, so we're kind of in between radar sites, which is, we're kind of on the purple edge, which is kind of when things start to get a little fuzzy, But we are seeing the red and green next to each other, which is probably what the radar operators are looking at.
And there we go.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
All right,
so
let's reset here and show you what we're looking at. We just got a new tornado warning issued, and this could extend for quite a bit of time, and I'll tell you what the bulletin says. Okay. The National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida, that is Central Florida. We can bring up Max 1 once again because I'm getting this loaded back in. And here we go. So here's a look right now, what we're looking at. Again, this is a tornado warning that was issued by the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida. And this tornado warning does include Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County. This is for inland spots along here. And at 12:24, a confirmed tornado was located over JNS Fish Camp, moving to the north at 25 miles per hour. And it is a radar indicated, I believe. Haven't seen any sort of. So regardless, it is a public confirmed tornado. So we actually had those images that I mentioned earlier that showed an actual tornado that was observed right along the edge of Lake Okeechobee. And this tornado warning again includes 441 and the Beeline Highway. So certainly not the time to be out on the road right now, whether you're heading from Indiantown to Okeechobee or from Okeechobee to Indiantown. You're going to want to stay inside until this tornado warning passes and don't head out to try to venture out and even witness this. But again, 1 p.m. So we'll be on the air for another 30 minutes tracking tornado warnings that have been issued across the state. And this individual tornado warning was because this individual cell is right over Lake Okeechobee. It's not over land right now. It's over Lake Okeechobee. But here's a look at the loop that I want to show you of the actual cell itself. And we can put a loop on this and kind of show you that it's moving to the north. And the National Weather Service office says it's moving to the north about 25 miles per hour. So if it continues this northerly trajectory, it will eventually move onshore, where we can expect this area to see some impacts from whether it's we can turn off Charlotte's mic for just a quick second, where you can see that if we're tracking this tornado warning because it could move onshore and it could produce very strong wind gusts as it does right along 441. So if you live along 441 in parts of Martin County or Okeechobee County, you're going to want to head to your safe place. That's an interior room away from doors and windows, because there's a tornado over Lake Okeechobee that could push its way onshore and produce potentially some damage in that area. So I'll try to see if anyone is talking. So I haven't seen anything else issued from the National Weather Service office, so we'll continue to watch this. But again, this individual cell has had a history of producing a tornado, and at this time we're continuing to monitor it for that increased potential. But I want to take a zoomed out look because this is still over the lake. So the Hurricane Category 4 storm Milton is located just off the shore of Southwest Florida. And if you're continuing to watch us for hurricane coverage right now, this storm is expected to make landfall later on today along the west coast of Florida, but it's going to take a sharp right turn because it's moving to the northeast right now, but it's going to take a right turn and head over central Florida. So our winds will begin to increase through the day today, and our worst conditions when it comes to wind speeds will actually be later on this evening as the storm moves over central Florida. This morning and through the lunchtime and into this afternoon, we're watching through the threat for isolated tornadoes and the potential for a few of these tornadoes to produce for these individual tornadoes and individual supercells that could produce a strong wind gust if it's not even producing an actual tornado. So this individual tornado that we've been monitoring here over the past couple of minutes or hours has been this individual cell moving its way over Lake Okeechobee, just hovering the coast of Lake Okeechobee, and is now moving onshore. So any sort of rotation within this individual cell is starting to move onshore right now. And let me get a velocity scan on this so we can see if there's any sort of images with it. And once again, my computer is a little slow right now. But here's an image look of the actual velocity scan, and we'll pull up the closest site. So we're kind of in this weird spot, like Charlotte said, where it is in between radar sites, so it's a little difficult to find. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here's the area that we're seeing the strongest wind potential right now. It is just to the southwest of the Beeline Highway and to the east of 441. So if anyone is in this area, maybe Zana, Marcy, you are under this tornado warning, and this cell is starting to push its way onshore. So you're going to want to head to your safe place, Charlotte.
Yeah, and it looks like it's tracking up towards the north, heading towards Martin Highway, along kind of heading up towards the north, crossing Beeline Highway. Anyone to the north of this should keep this in mind over the next 30 minutes, because the storm will continue to, do its cycles. It looked like, I was looking at the Melbourne chat, and it looked like one of the images that was sent was actually from the cell on the other side of Lake O, but the other one the picture that was sent from Indiantown, you could see the tornado, it was a pretty good wedge signature on the ground. So, you are able to see once the storm safely passes, if this is, still on the ground, you're able to go outside and see that. Again, I would not recommend it if you are in the area that has the warning if you are under the warning currently. But we have gotten visual confirmation that this cell has produced now not one, but 2 tornadoes that have touched down on the ground. So this is especially a warning that you need to heed. Take it seriously, get inside, get away from your windows, get away from your doors. Especially if you are kind of along 441 between Okeechobee County, Martin County, up into St. Lucie County as well. Zana, Beeline Highway, Marcy, just to the east of 441. Looks like we have very strong winds associated with this. Again, there are threats that come with cells that are not just the rotation, even though we are getting rotation signatures, and that should of course be taken seriously, but straight line winds are also very dangerous. Lots of lightning, that's also very dangerous. Heavy rain, wouldn't drive in it. Yeah. So, there's a bunch of things that you need to be taken seriously.
You're right, Charlotte. And if you are in this tornado warning that has been issued for Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County, this is for interior portions of Martin and St. Lucie County, and for the kind of southeast corner of Okeechobee County, so it does not include the city of Okeechobee. You are under this tornado warning, so if you did get an alert on your phone and you are in the area of 441 close to Lake Okeechobee along the Beeline Highway 2, you're going to want to head to your safe place, an interior room away from doors and windows, and you're going to want to stay there until we tell you the coast is clear. But for areas to our south, Port Mayaca, Bessemer, that threat was over once it moved over Lake Okeechobee. So you're okay to come out of your safe place if we didn't already tell you to, and where that threat has now moved to your north, where this individual cell has produced a couplet that indicates rotation. And again, with the wind direction inside of a tornado, Charlotte, it does show you kind of what direction of the winds are going, what speeds we're looking at, even though this is kind of an elevated radar scan, so it's probably looking directly into the thunderstorm, not necessarily at the surface.
Yeah, in supercell, cells themselves rotate outside of the rotation of tornadoes. So it is it is confusing sometimes. You're looking at a higher elevation, you're seeing rotation that could just be the supercell going through these cycles, but then you're also getting that rotation. You have the potential for that rotation at the surface, especially because, funnel clouds, they start in the cloud. So you could just be seeing that cloud rotating. You could be seeing a wall cloud kind of descend, but then without the funnel actually touching to the ground, which would turn it into a tornado. And then when we look at reflectivity imagery, so our typical radar that we would show you, where those green colors indicate light rainfall, red colors indicate very heavy downpours. You look for kind of the hook signature on the radar. We're getting a little bit of that. It's a very weak hook signature, but still I would say that there is some semblance of a hook there. Also some lightning out to the east of the cell itself as it's pushing up towards the north. Again, this warning is in effect for Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County. It's kind of where all of the 3 counties meet, but it is right now kind of over Lake Okeechobee, over 441, pushing up towards Beeline Highway. It's moving 35 miles an hour?
Yeah, about 25 miles per hour from National Weather Service. Let's take Charlotte full screen because I have to move to this other computer. This one froze, but here's that's the current radar image, Charlotte.
Yeah, this is the current radar right now. Again, you're looking at reflectivity. You're looking over Lake Okeechobee. This is the northern portion of Lake Okeechobee. It is tracking up towards the north, so if you are anywhere in the northwestern corner of Martin County, the southwestern corner, corner of St. Lucie County, or the eastern corner of Okeechobee County. I know that's kind of a lot of cardinal directions, but if you fall anywhere within the areas where Martin County, St. Lucie County, and Okeechobee County kind of meet, it's time to head to your safe place, because over the next 25 minutes or so, this tornado warning will remain in effect. It'll depend on what the National Weather Service of Melbourne decides in terms of whether to keep the warning or to cancel it, issue another one. It's up to them, and we will stay on the air until they decide to expire it or until the threat is over. So again, anyone to the south of the south of the area that is under the polygon. So if you are in Indiantown or due west of Indiantown, you are safe now. The threat is over. But if you are on Beeline Highway, specifically the area where it goes from Martin County into Okeechobee County, the threat is still very, very imminent. The area of the cell that is actually producing the tornadic activity, if there is any, would be straight to your south over 441 right now. It's heading quickly up towards the north. Lots of lightning. I would guess about 6 lightning strikes probably within the last 15 minutes or so. And so, if we watch, for rapid increase or rapid decrease in those lightning strikes to tell us where the storm is in with respect to its cycle, we see the green meeting red couplet on the velocity imagery, the hook echo. That's what the radar operators at the National Weather Service in Melbourne are looking for to, indicate to them that there is an active threat for a tornado. We did have visual confirmation not once but twice with this particular cell. Specifically, it was sent from Indiantown. So, Indiantown, you are good. The threat is over. If you are on Canner Highway to the east of Beeline Highway, you are okay as well. Or if you are on Canner Highway to the east of Beeline, you are okay. Now, if you are in the southern portion of St. Lucie County, if you are along Okeechobee Road, now is the time to start thinking about where you are going to go. If you notice that you are just in the northern corner of this, or you are just outside of this polygon area, it's time to also think about where you're going to head indoors, because you're probably hearing the rumbles of thunder outside. So it's probably for the best that you take that precaution now. Oh, I want to look at the zoomed out radar with Milton.
And that's you just said the zoomed out look of Milton, Charlotte. I want to mention we get updates from the Storm Prediction Center, who are the ones that issue those tornado watches across South Florida, and they are highlighting in one of their discussions that tornadoes still remain possible south of Lake Okeechobee with these developing updrafts because temperatures have risen into the upper 80s and 90s, and so several of these updrafts that develop and deepen, they could have the potential producing additional tornadoes. And it's only expected to intensify through the day as Milton continues to the east. And its wind field, it will generally expand, as you were talking about earlier with Lauren. Yeah, the wind field expands as the storm kind of weakens, it loses its momentum, and then it expands a bit. And so with that expansion, of course, these outer bands will move onshore, and within that, because we have the sun approaching in some of our eastern communities here locally, that heats up the ground, so that fuels instability in the atmosphere, and that's why we have the severe weather threat today, Charlotte.
What was the abbreviation you used before? Slime?
Slim.
Okay.
Yeah, shear, lift, instability, moisture.
Yes. Okay. So, we have a lot of these elements working to develop these supercells. And, I was saying earlier, it's not just the supercells or the cells specifically within the outer bands of the storms that we're, tracking as a threat for our area today. It's also the added thing of we're going to get those tropical storm force, potentially even Category 1 force winds in our area as the storm progresses inland. So here we're looking at radar. We're looking at our reflectivity imagery, which is where the radar sends the beams out. If it detects rain, it comes back, depending on how heavy the rainfall is, the warmer the colors, the heavier the rainfall is. Lightning also detected within this cell as well. It's right now in the northern portion of Martin County, kind of where 441 runs parallel to Beeline Highway, along that Martin County, St. Lucie County, Okeechobee County, where they all meet. And then it's heading up towards the north. Wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service in Melbourne potentially extended this warning up a little bit further into St. Lucie County as well. So if you're in St. Lucie County or Okeechobee County and you're starting to hear the rumbles of thunder, or maybe you're starting to get some light rainfall, now's the time, especially if you're in the eastern portions of Okeechobee County or the western portions of St. Lucie County, Okeechobee Road specifically, it's time to find a safe space, because they may not continue this warning, but regardless, there's lots of lightning, there's heavy rainfall, there's strong winds associated with this cell as it's tracking up towards the north. We have a few other cells right now that have entered Palm Beach County kind of from the south and west. So those have also the same potential. While they don't have, kind of the oomph that this one has just yet, they are interacting with some other factors that could cause them to develop a little bit more. That's the heat. That's the instability that comes
Yes.
with the heat over land. They're also interacting with the same shear that a lot of these other cells have interacted with. And they're a little bit further out, so we'll continue to see development of these storms throughout the day-to-day, especially as the threat kind of progresses. 9 p.m. is going to be our mark. They'll reevaluate the Storm Prediction Center. We'll see if another watch is warranted. But for now, we have a 1 warning in effect for Palm Beach County. We have another warning that's kind of clipping the western portions of Okeechobee County. It's not in Okeechobee County, but it's just to the west. But then for our cells down in South Palm Beach County, some of them are producing heavy rainfall, most of them to the west of I-95 and the Turnpike, but we will, it's going to be a pattern we see all day. Jen?
Yeah, and as you were talking about, this is what we're going to continue to see, and we're already starting to watch these individual cells work their way into Palm Beach County. And as they're moving into Palm Beach County, they're in a different location compared to what we were tracking earlier. So some of these ones are actually working their way across parts of south central Palm Beach County, and we actually have a few downpours developing right around the West Del Rey area, 441. Some of these will approach the Wellington, Acreage, and parts of Loxahatchee. So within these individual cells, remember we have the daytime heating. We've had some very light cloud cover that allows the ground to heat up. So we do have the threat still for tornadoes through this morning, we're in the afternoon now, through this afternoon for individual supercells that could produce tornadoes. So it's very important to have ways to receive weather alerts, whether it's on your phone, whether it's through you watching TV when we alert you, or whether it's through a weather radio or having any other way to get your alerts. If you do have a mobile app, maybe you're using a local television station, mobile app, you're going to want to turn on your location and notifications, because if those two aren't on, you're not going to be alerted to any actual tornado threat in your area or tornado warning that gets issued. So here's that individual threat we're watching again. This is for the corner of Martin County in the northwestern portion of Martin County, just to the north of Beeline Highway. It's starting to move into St. Lucie County right now, and then we have the corner of it moving in through Okeechobee County too. So I'm going to pull up our velocity image of this just to show you where our strongest wind potential is. And our velocity scan, if you're joining us now and you haven't heard this explanation earlier, our velocity scan can kind of it gets us a glimpse of what's happening inside of a thunderstorm. It shows us what the wind speed or wind direction is inside of a thunderstorm. It can tell us where the area of rotation could be. So those green colors, they indicate areas of areas that are heading towards a radar site. As you can see here, I'm going to walk on camera just to show you if we can pull up chroma key so that we can see this. As it's moving into St. Lucie County, you can see, here's a look, again, that tornado warning till 1 p.m. You can kind of see the wind heading towards the radar site. The red indicates winds heading away from a radar site. When you get those two winds close together, when you get those two colors close together, that indicates that there's potential for some rotation. And then the brighter the colors get, that indicates that the wind is elevated. So we have strong wind gusts within this individual cell just to the northeast of the Beeline Highway. And within this individual cell, even though it's looking at kind of an elevation, within the thunderstorm itself, it's producing some stronger winds too. So very turbulent atmosphere. And so within this, we are watching the potential for a rotation here as it moves through Martin County. So if you're in this tornado warning, I know this is a fairly rural location in our viewing area, you're going to want to stay inside in an interior room, and you're going to want to stay inside, away from doors and windows, in an interior room, and stay there until we tell you it's okay to come out of your safe place. We have frequent lightning developing associated with this, and I want to point out Port St. Lucie is located well to the east of this isolated cell, so you're not under this tornado warning. It is for inland St. Lucie County, and it does not include downtown Okeechobee or the city of Okeechobee. It's actually to your east. So we have that continued tornado warning at this time for this general area as a result of watching this individual cell work its way onshore from Lake Okeechobee. And as it works its way onshore, that threat for strong gusty winds and potentially an isolated tornado is possible. We did have some visual confirmation of this individual cell as it was over Lake Okeechobee. Unsure if it has lifted off the ground, but either way, there could be a funnel cloud developing developing too. And so within tropical tornadoes, they tend to form very quickly, and then they actually lift off the ground quickly in some cases too, so they can happen quite quick. And so sometimes National Weather Service office, they'll issue warnings in advance of any sort of cell and kind of give you a heads up. Hey, there's a cell that we're suspicious of. It could show signs of rotation and potentially produce a tornado. So we're going to give you a heads up, and so that you have advance notice that you need to head inside, away from doors and windows, and stay there. So Charlotte, do we have any update from the National Weather Service office?
Yes, the National Weather Service at 12:43, so about 3 minutes ago, they said they have a confirmed tornado is located between J&S Fish Camp. It's moving north at 25 miles an hour. It is a damaging tornado. It was confirmed by the public, so they're expecting the impact. The impact will be debris, especially those caught outside or in weaker shelters, mobile homes likely to be damaged or destroyed, and then damage can be expected to roofs or windows or vehicles. Tree damage is also likely. I put this out on Twitter earlier, and part of the threat that we have, especially with our areas that have received lots of rainfall this week has been a very, very damp week. So when you have all of that rain really saturating the ground, it's much easier to uproot trees, especially weaker trees. We're not talking about the really old oak trees, but we're talking, weaker, small to medium-sized trees with the ground saturated with these strong winds. It's possible for them to be uprooted very quickly. And that of course can cause damage. Also, other small flying debris. There's lots of areas that I know, are farm areas out in the inland Okeechobee County. So, any farm equipment that's just lying loose around, that could be lofted into the air. These are very strong wind gusts. We have lots of lightning in this cell. I'm going to put a counter on that to see how many strikes of lightning we've gotten recently. About 26 strikes of lightning in the last about 15 minutes. We still have that tornado warning in effect. It'll go from 12:43, so that was the last time they sent it. It will go from 12:43 until 1 p.m. So at that point, it'll be kind of up to them whether they, cancel the warning or they reissue it. If they reissued it, it would be, they'd probably cut Martin County out of it, or maybe just include that northeastern, northwestern corner of it. And then, when it pushes up throughout the rest of our area, it'll likely, remain a storm capable of producing tornadoes, but whether it has, the rotation, whether it keeps that velocity signature, it kind of depends on what the storm wants to do and kind of what energy it has available to it. So right now, this is a zoomed out image of the warning, again, going right now until 1 p.m. They haven't said anything else about it other than that they will let it continue until 1 p.m. Lots of strikes of lightning starting to impact areas to the north. I'll throw a track on this. They said it was moving at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. I'll do 35 just to, cover our bases. So if we put a track on this and then we say it's moving at 35 miles an hour, will it let me do this? No.
And again, this tornado warning continues until 1 p.m., so we're going to stay on air with this. That has about 10 minutes left on it. Uncertain if they'll continue to put warning on this because it has had a history of producing a tornado. So the National Weather Service office in Melbourne might reissue it and potentially extend any sort of warning along. But that area of rotation we're monitoring, it's still, I don't know if this loop, can you bring up Melbourne radar maybe? Because I think it might have moved a little bit because it hasn't really moved much in the past couple of minutes. Yeah. But that individual area in the southwest portion of southeast portion, of Okeechobee County, frequent lightning produced around it. So if that general area, as we're watching, so this is perfect. I want to see this right here. So see this little area right here, the circle, that indicates where that potential rotation, and if there is a tornado being produced, it would be in this general area right here where we're starting to see lightning activity really increase at this time too. So when we bring up our velocity scan here, when we get the image from the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida, you can kind of see when the two colors get really close together and they get really, really bright, that shows that signal of rotation too. So it is just to the northeast right here, because you can see our polygon. I'm going to show you good images of that polygon, and if we pull up max 2, we can get a good image of that too, just where that area of rotation will be. So the green color can indicate very gusty conditions. The brighter the colors they get, the gustier the conditions are. So it is approaching Okeechobee Road. You can kind of see where the two colors meet is that general area of rotation. And I have to say, these storms that develop these individual supercells, the kind of couplets that we're getting off of these have been fairly impressive. So can we zoom out just a little bit? I want to see, there we go. So we got a new warning issued. This one continues until 1:30 p.m. And can you zoom out just a little bit? I want to make sure that the entire area is still okay, because we have had some individual cells develop in parts of Palm Beach County. So let's pull up the radar loop. So here's a look at all these thunderstorms already developing across central Palm Beach County. So if you're in Belgrade and Pahokee, heads up, you're going to see very heavy rainfall here over the next couple of minutes. So this is the time, as we head into the afternoon, that we're watching these bands of thunderstorms roll on through. And these individual bands of thunderstorms have the potential of producing tornadic activity, but also torrential rainfall too. And so when these storms develop, we're going to continue to monitor this, because as it develops, we'll start to see more and more thunderstorms pop up, even close to the coast of Palm Beach County. But let's zoom in on this individual thunderstorm here. It had this tornado warning has been issued until 1 p.m. For the next one, excuse me, probably issued towards 1:30 p.m. And this individual one here issued for 1 p.m. It's for Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County. Notice very heavy rainfall rates right here with frequent lightning right over Okeechobee Road. So this tornado warning has been issued, and we'll continue to watch it. Notice that precipitation rate too. These individual thunderstorms are certainly very impressive when they're on radar, even with rainfall rates too. So let me read off right now what this tornado warning
Yeah, I can do that,
Yeah,
Jen.
perfect. Sure, let's
All
do
right,
it.
so for the tornado warning, it includes western St. Lucie County, southeastern Okeechobee County, and northwestern Martin County. So like we expected, it still has that northwestern corner of Martin County clipped, but overall the threat is most likely going to exit that area first within the next 5-10 minutes. Again, this was a confirmed tornado on the ground, visually confirmed twice. Once it was in Broward County, and once when it got into Martin County by someone who saw it in or could have been Palm Beach County, but someone that was able to see it from Indiantown. Again, moving north 30 miles an hour. It's moving towards it's near Treasure Island, near Four Seasons Estates. And it is going to last until 1:30. It has the capability of producing a damaging tornado and continuing to produce a damaging tornado. It will remain mostly over rural areas like western St. Lucie and southeastern Okeechobee. Country Hills Estates, it definitely could see some impacts over there.
Yeah, and let's take off the overall radar and get the sweeping radar on this and just show you exactly what we're talking about. This is the thunderstorm in question that produced that tornado, that triggered that tornado warning, because a confirmed tornado was observed earlier, and so we're continuing with that individual supercell thunderstorm here. And we can take off radar too to look at ground level, but you can see here's the downtown Okeechobee. Here's the Beeline Highway meeting up with downtown Okeechobee. There's 441 up and down. Here's State Road 98. So this is downtown Okeechobee. It's to your east. So it's to the east of downtown Okeechobee. You're not included under this tornado warning. And we have multiple roads. So this is a very rural area. If you are picking up our signal right now, you are seeing this individual cell. So if you're in this tornado warning, it's very important we tell you, You want to head to an interior room of your home. You want to stay there until it's safe to come out, and we tell you it's safe and okay to come out. And with these individual cells, they have been quite robust, I have to say. So it's very important that you take this seriously and you head to an interior room away from doors and windows. Think of those interior rooms as some interior bathroom that you may have, or even some interior closet space that you have too. And you're going to want to stay there until this warning expires. It does continue until about 1 p.m. And I want to let everyone know along the Okeechobee Lake region, the cell has moved to your north, so you're okay to come out of your safe place, but it's not the time to venture outside to maybe look if there's any sort of damage around, because we have more thunderstorms developing through this afternoon, and we have a fairly serious tornado threat for today. We've seen multiple warnings issued too, and we have even more showers and storms developing in Palm Beach County as well. You can kind of see all of them starting to form. They're moving very quickly across the area. And of course, whenever we have an individual cell that has signal of producing rotation, the National Weather Service Office will likely immediately issue in this situation tornado warnings just to be proactive on them, so that they give people a heads up to head to an interior room and head to a protective area as well. So as you can see with this individual thunderstorm here, we can kind of click on, yep, there we go, onto the Melbourne site, because we're probably getting better image because we're now moving out of the Palm Beach International radar site, but it is moving north across the eastern portion of Okeechobee County, right over Okeechobee Road, and heavy rainfall, frequent lightning. This is not the thunderstorm to go out and try to venture out to see anything or try to take video of. This is the time to be inside, staying safe and staying in your safe place until this warning moves out of the way. So it is moving north towards Okeechobee Road with any potential rotation, but it is north of the Beeline Highway, and we're actually getting a storm track on this to see what kind of area. So Ossawa Junction, that's actually the Yeehaw Junction, that's where we could see the system move in by about 1:30. And then Hilo is another place that we're watching just to the east there, 441, for the next major main city or town that our system can kind of detect. Sometimes we have little communities that aren't detected on our actual radar site, but if you are in eastern Okeechobee County or western St. Lucie County, you are under this tornado warning, so it is important to stay inside, away from doors and windows. And here's a look at Fort Pierce right here. Here's the Florida Turnpike heading up towards the Yeehaw Junction. Here's a look at Port St. Lucie. You're to the west, to the east of this supercell thunderstorm. So this is not a threat to you right now, but we have more storms firing up across Palm Beach County that will lift north. And we've had history of most of these individual cells producing some sort of rotation, and we've had 4 confirmed tornadoes through this morning across South Florida. And we've had 2 warnings that actually we had visual confirmation of, because we actually showed you on air what they look like as they move over I-75 in Alligator Alley, and that was all the way down south in Broward County. So we've been on the air with you for about 4 hours now, tracking basically this individual cell that moved in from Broward County and is now in Okeechobee County north of the lake. So that's how quick these individual cells are moving and how they're holding their structure together. We have the atmosphere, and we have the ingredients in the atmosphere to produce these individual cells. We've had sunshine along our coastline. We haven't had much rainfall ahead of Milton, so that hasn't cooled off our grounds. So we get the heating of the day. We get the shear involved with Milton, and then we also get the moisture associated with the tropical system off to our west. Again, Milton is still a Category 4 hurricane, I believe. We haven't really had an update on it because we've been tracking the severe weather threat that's right now, the serious severe weather threat. Yeah. But, and look at all the tornado warnings right there in Southwest Florida that have been issued, some of them with considerable tags, because some of these areas that have shown signs of rotation have been very significant and very strong. You can actually pull up radar, click on the radar icon, and it'll show these individual cells. And you can actually see these individual cells and how they're developing. Look at Southwest Florida here. This is a cluster of showers and thunderstorms associated with the outer band. Milton's all the way over here, by the way. Here's a look at the outer bands right now, and we have 2 tornado warnings that have a considerable tag on it. That means that they're potentially destructive tornadoes that could be on the ground, whether they're visually confirmed or whether they're radar indicated. So here's a look at that tornado warning in Okeechobee and St. Lucie County. It's about 200 miles away from the center of Milton. So this is why we tell you, don't focus on the track of the storm. Don't focus on the individual track of a storm, because it can be hundreds of miles away from you and you could still experience impacts from it. So let's get a zoomed in look of that individual tornado warning. You can see multiple lightning strikes associated with it moving over Okeechobee Road here in inland St. Lucie and Okeechobee County. It is continuing to work its way to the north and eventually will head towards the Florida Turnpike near the Yeehaw Junction. So certainly not the time to be out on the roads right now, certainly the time to stay inside. And I want everyone thinking, even if you're in the metro area of the Treasure Coast or Palm Beach County, think of the place that you would go if you have to stay safe from a tornado. Think about the place you'll go. It's an interior room. It's away from doors and windows. And it's a place that you can feel safe. And in this type of situation, I mean, some of these individual cells have produced pretty impressive images of tornadoes that we've had on air. So if you can bring a helmet with you when you do, if and when you do head to your safe place, I would advise to do that, because some of these cells have been impressive and some of these cells have been long tracking too. And so this individual one in the eastern portion of Okeechobee and inland portions of St. Lucie County, anytime you have a tornado that develops, the wind associated with it can loft debris and can throw it into homes and through windows. That's why we tell you to head to an interior room. But in some cases, depending on how a storm develops and how strong it develops, it can lift a roof off of a house. So that's why we tell you sometimes that in certain situations, if we think that a tornado could be strong enough, to bring protection for yourself. So right now, though, the metro area of the Treasure Coast and Palm Beach County is not under any immediate threat, but you are under a tornado watch, and we've had multiple warnings issued throughout the day today. So this cell that we're watching is heading towards the Yeehaw Junction at about 1:35. And again, we've been watching this tornado all the way down south, this individual supercell, all the way down south into Broward County. So if it does continue this northerly trek, it will be somewhere around the Fellsmere region by about 2 p.m. So we'll continue to monitor that. But we've been on the air with you for multiple hours just watching multiple cells develop. And this one right here, if we take off the track, has produced quite frequent lightning and potentially a hook echo too. And if any tornado was to develop, if we zoom in on that general area, it would be right here, because we have the updraft, the forward flank, updraft ahead of this individual cell. We have this area that would produce any sort of tornado. It would be right here. So believe it or not, if someone was looking for this direction in this region, you would actually see it, but this isn't the time to go out and try to see anything. But this is the general area of rotation right over Okeechobee Road. And so there's maybe some tiny neighborhoods in this general area, or maybe individual homes in this general area that could have homes. So if you are watching us and you're picking us up right now, and you're streaming us on your phone, this is the area that we're watching for that tornado threat right now. So this individual tornado warning has been issued and will continue until 1:30 for Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County. And any sort of rotation would be in this general area if we pull up the velocity scan. But it is heading towards the Florida Turnpike, because this is moving north, and it's moving north about 30 miles per hour. And with that general motion, it will head towards the Florida Turnpike, likely within the next 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, it looks like velocity is not working, Jen.
Oh, okay. Well, if we pull up here, I'm going to walk towards you. If we do pull up we can pull this up full screen, everyone. We can pull this up. Let's pull up the Max 1 full screen. And if we bring up the Melbourne site, you press here, and it would be in this general area, and that's not the one. Okay, so yeah, you're right. It is giving us some difficulty here.
Unclick Miami.
But yeah, so this is general area. We'll just continue to show this one right here. So it's that general area where the red kind of meets the green too, that we're watching for that area of rotation. So, we'll continue to monitor this system too as it works its way to the north. So let's get the latest image of that. We'll just use our reflectivity because it's the most trustworthy one right now.
Yes.
And the screen will load in. So let's pull up our Max 2
There we go.
computer. There we go. And so you can actually see that individual cell right there. It is an observed tornado that we were watching move off the coast of the Lake Okeechobee and move onshore into Lake Okeechobee too. And you can actually see that individual cell as well. So here's that cell moving north right now. And so the box of that tornado warning has been kind of moved to the north. So we've been able to discontinue that warning across the coastal area of Lake Okeechobee in 441. But it's in this general area right here that we're watching for that rotation. And we've seen frequent lightning associated right along Okeechobee Road. And it is moving north towards the border of Indian River County.
Yeah, and so it looks like, so they just took out the Martin County portion of it. So as the storm is continuing to, push quickly up towards the north, quickly soon here, I would assume they include Indian River in this as well. So that's what the cell looks like. It's kind of in between Okeechobee and St. Lucie counties right now. And it's heading up towards, it'll be just towards the east of Eagle Island. It's right over Okeechobee Road. Okeechobee Road, give it about 5 minutes. And then, your threat will be mostly over. There's lots of lightning in this cell as well. I'll put a little counter on this as well to give you an idea of how many lightning strikes. Oh, it looks like it doesn't want to do that. That's okay. But overall, the threat is there for those lightning strikes in the area. If you're starting to hear the rumbles of thunder, and if you're in St. Lucie County, or maybe you're in Indian River County, the southern parts of it, it's time to get inside, find your safe place, away from windows, away from doors. Heavy, heavy rainfall as well. So I'll put a little counter on this to see what the rainfall rate looks like there. About just over 2¼ inches of rain per hour up in that area. But again, it is moving fast, so we probably won't get to that point where we get that much rain. But I want to zoom out and take a look at the area as a whole. We are a good bit away from the center of Milton. If you look off the coastline of the west coast of Florida, you can see the eye of Milton over there. So it's spinning quickly. It has made that kind of eastward jog and is going to push over, the west coast of Florida. But yeah, so right now we're tracking that tornado warning in effect until 1:30 at least for Okeechobee County and St. Lucie County.
Yeah, and you can see that area that we're watching here along the border there of St. Lucie and Okeechobee County. Now, I also want to, if you could zoom out at the bigger picture of the actual system itself, I want to let everyone know that we are under a tornado watch that'll continue through this evening. We have the potential for isolated tornadoes today. Is everyone going to see a tornado? No. This will be fairly isolated in nature, but the threat is there. So it's important to consider, what am I going to do if a tornado warning is issued? Well, I'm going to head into an interior room of my home and I'm going to stay there until any sort of warning it discontinues. And so you can see Milton there off the southwest coast of Florida. And let's get the latest on Milton right now very quick, and then we can go right back to that tornado warning. So Milton still maintaining that major hurricane strength right now, and it is going to approach landfall here by this evening. And so conditions are beginning to deteriorate across West Florida right now, and it has maximum winds there of 145 miles per hour. So still a Category 4 hurricane, still moving to the northeast at 17 miles per hour, and will approach landfall here shortly, where it is anticipated to make an east turn and actually head over central Florida, where we will see maybe some impacts. We will see impacts from Milton move across the central portion of the state. But our wind speeds, our strong wind speeds, won't pick up until later on this evening, and our strongest wind speeds likely won't be felt until late tonight and into early tomorrow morning before Milton heads off into the Atlantic. Thank you, Charlotte, for showing the Milton stats and tracks right now, so we can come back to our tornado and let you know about our current situation that we're dealing with right now. We have severe weather ongoing across the area, and we have a tornado warning that's issued for in Okeechobee and St. Lucie County, and you can see that early sign of rotation there associated with these thunderstorms as this individual cell moves right over Okeechobee Road and heading to the north. And if it heads in this general direction, it will move towards the Florida Turnpike just to the east there of Eagle Island and 441 in Okeechobee County. Here's Fort Pierce behind me. Port St. Lucie's there. Here's the Florida Turnpike. So this is to the west of the metro area of St. Lucie County. So if maybe you saw the alert for St. Lucie County and you saw the county being named, same thing with Okeechobee, the threat is for the interior portion of St. Lucie County, and it's for the eastern portion of Okeechobee County, so these individual neighborhoods. And this is the place we're watching just north of Okeechobee Road, where that potential rotation would be. It would be in that interior little hook there that we call the hook echo on a radar scan. This hook echo right here, it would be in that general area of rotation. This was a confirmed tornado, so we had visual confirmation of it from spotters across the area. And that's why the National Weather Service office in Melbourne continues to keep an eye on it. And if it continues in this general motion, it will head towards the Florida Turnpike on the border there of Indian River and Okeechobee and St. Lucie County, and eventually move into Indian River County before moving into Central Florida as well. So this individual warning has been issued until 1:30. We will remain on air with this until the warning does expire or it moves out of our area. And hopefully no other alerts get issued for our local area. But this area is where we're watching frequent lightning associated with it, heavy rainfall too, and then this general region right here just north of Okeechobee Road is where we're watching that potential rotation, probably some individual neighborhoods or individual homes here. So if you did get the warning, and you are in this tornado warning, it's important to stay inside in an interior room away from doors and windows. And it's very impressive that our radar is actually picking up on this. Our radars are very powerful. They're able to even look into storms and look at the general direction and wind speeds. But even just looking at a radar scan of a storm, that the radar scan actually picks up on precipitation amounts. So it can kind of see where's the rain occurring. And when we look at where the rain is likely occurring, it's that general motion of where the rain kind of wraps itself around together is where we see that hook echo and where we're watching the threat for an actual tornado maybe on the ground. So you look at all the active alerts just to even to the west of the Kissimmee River here in Highlands County. This is kind of just north of State Road, I believe 98 there. And you can kind of see, here's a look at Sebring, parts of Placid Lakes. There's Bassinger right here, so that these cells are off to your west here. But here's a look at, there's like 98 there as you're heading towards Sebring. So this is right along that general area, right over the Kissimmee River as you cross it. So we're still seeing active severe weather ongoing across the state of Florida. If we get a bigger picture of the storm, you can even see some of those individual ones here that are producing some more cells. So here's a look right now. Someone's on the road trying to get images. I believe this is Belle Glade. So one of our photographers is trying to go see if maybe there was any damage reported in the Belle Glade, Pahokee area. But you can see very heavy rainfall. That's that individual cell right here. Let's pause the radar and show. Our photographer is likely right here, hopefully remaining safe on the roadways, using caution, taking it slow, especially with the heavy rainfall threat. But you can kind of see these cells are developing in inland Palm Beach County, and these cells haven't had any sort of tornadic nature to them, but we're still continuing to monitor them. The tornado warning we're actively monitoring is in Okeechobee County and inland St. Lucie County, and that's where that active tornado warning will continue until 1:30. So we still have about 20 minutes left on this tornado warning, but would not be surprised, as we've said, with this individual supercell that has trekked all the way from Broward County. This individual supercell could likely continue into Indian River County, so would not be surprised once again if that tornado warning extends into Indian River County. These supercells have been very impressive, holding their structure together. And this one even went over Lake Okeechobee briefly and then moved into Okeechobee County. So frequent lightning, if any sort of tornadic activity happened, I mean, that signature right there will tell you it's generally in this area for any sort of tornadic activity just north of Okeechobee Road. So if you are under the warning, I can't give any neighborhoods or town or neighborhoods or any individual street names, but if you are in this general area, it's very important to stay inside until this warning expires, and expires at 1:30. But we still have more storms developing on behind it. we're starting to see conditions deteriorate across the state of Florida. And we have this tornado threat in our area. Now our winds associated directly with Milton won't arrive until later on this evening and into the overnight period, because that's when Milton will be just to the north of us. So here's a look at that wind gust forecast for our area. You can kind of see the wind gusts are picking up heading into the afternoon. Notice the direction too. So that's coming out of the south as Milton moves to our west. And then as we head into the evening, Milton's going to make that eventual turn, which will adjust our wind direction. So later on tonight, we're going to see a southwest wind develop behind the system. So rain will move in from the southwest to the northeast as the outer bands roll through. But for right now, this south wind is why we're seeing this tornado threat with storms developing from the south to the north. Thank you, Charlotte, for showing that and showing what I was talking about. But you can kind of see here, and that was our wind gust forecast. So those were gusts, not sustained winds. In the Juneau Beach area. So this is the cell right here that we're watching, right over the border of Okeechobee and St. Lucie County. This cell is moving north of Okeechobee Road. It's just to the east here of 441, and it's approaching the Florida Turnpike, which borders Indian River County with the Tri-County area right there. So here's State Road 60, so that'll be next in line. And again, we're watching this individual cell that is potentially producing a tornado, and it has had confirmed a tornado report earlier from the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida. Charlotte, have you had any sort of discussion on this from the National Weather Service office?
No, we did get a new mesoscale discussion, so that's the best I can offer you.
Here, zoom out the picture and kind of give us the discussion here.
Yeah, so I'll give you a bigger picture of what's going on. Radar, I'll zoom it out so you can look at the bigger picture. So the mesoscale discussion is something that the Storm Prediction Center puts out just to kind of give us an idea of what they are looking at, and they're very smart, so, you know, like to hear what they have to say. So what they're talking about right now is across Southwest Florida, and why Southwest Florida is important to us is because with the trajectory of the outer bands, Southwest Florida, whatever's going on over there, will eventually make their way north, kind of northeast-ish into Palm Beach County, or at least like the energy from it, if that makes any sense, will kind of push up into Palm Beach County. So they're looking at a very unstable level of CAPE, which is a reference to what kind of energy storms have available to tap into, and there's lots of it, in short, lots of it. And you know, there's a pretty strong, they're talking about the temperatures right now. So right now there's a lot of warm temperatures, especially in areas kind of, you know, outside of Southwest Florida. So think Palm Beach County, Broward, Miami-Dade, you know, it's sunny. You know, we have some clouds, but overall the sun is still able to shine through clouds. I'll show you what our satellite looks like right now, so you can see kind of an idea of where, see, like there are areas that have no clouds right now. So, and even with the cloud cover, you're able to get really warm warm surfaces at the ground. So,
yeah, let's go back on that cell there, because still seeing that indication of maybe a tornado being produced right now, and you can kind of see where that hook echo would be on radar. And this warning goes until 1:30 p.m. for Okeechobee County, the eastern portion of Okeechobee County, and also the western portion of St. Lucie County. You can see heavy rainfall associated with it as it moves north towards the Florida Turnpike, but any sort of rotation would be in this general area. And that area of rotation would kind of be where that, it shows as like a slight hook in the individual supercell. So it's very impressive on radar, which is why we're still on air monitoring this area. And so we have some, you know, neighborhoods in this general region, right north of Okeechobee Road, to the east there, 441 in Okeechobee County. So very important, if you're still under this tornado warning, to take it seriously. It is to the northeast of downtown Okeechobee. So downtown Okeechobee, you're not under threat for this individual cell, but we still have more storms beginning to fire up. So certainly in the area, we still have the threat for a few isolated supercells that could produce tornadic activity. So think about, okay, if a tornado warning was issued, where in my home would I go? Well, I would head to an interior room. I'd probably stay there until the warning expires, or until I'm told that I can come out of my safe place. And when you head in there, you know, take the warning seriously. Take every warning today seriously, because anytime we're on the right side of a tropical system, we have the threat for tropical tornadoes. So we pulled up the track on here, and here's a look at about 2 o'clock Fellsmere. So we'll move into the northern portion of Okeechobee County by about 2 p.m. So we still have about 45 minutes to go until it ends up in northern Okeechobee County and then eventually out of our viewing area. But you can see the cell right here is in eastern central Okeechobee County, and in inland St. Lucie County is where the warning is. So it's still moving north, it's still moving its way through, and the this cell we've been monitoring. We've been watching since it was in Broward County. We actually had, these individual cells have been popping up left and right. And this one has kind of been on the long track, working its way through Palm Beach County, and then it entered Lake Okeechobee and then moved into Okeechobee, through Martin County and then into Okeechobee. It's kind of crossing all 5 of our counties here locally, and eventually it will end up into Indian River County. So very important to take it seriously. If you are to the east of the 441 area in Okeechobee County, you're going to want to stay inside away from doors and windows, because if any rotation were to occur, it would be in this general area, but we still have torrential downpours that is now occurring across the Florida Turnpike. So maybe if we have any images, producers of the Florida Turnpike area, just to kind of show how much rainfall there is, it would be in this general area along the straight west path of the border of Indian River in Okeechobee and St. Lucie County. Very heavy rainfall, and we're starting to see lightning strikes develop across it as well. And you can see this general area would be that area of rotation, Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, the cell's starting to get to a point where the National Weather Service in Melbourne is probably going to extend it into Indian River County, probably until 2 p.m. That's what I'm guessing, but who knows? We have lost our velocity imagery, and it looks like everyone else has as well. So we are missing the couplet, but we're still getting a pretty good image of reflectivity, what's going on. One of the things that the National Weather Service in Miami has been highlighting in their kind of little chats is lightning jumps. So the rapid increases in lightning flashes. So if you're starting to hear what sounds like crazy lightning outside, and you're in Indian River County, or you're in the northern portion of St. Lucie County and Okeechobee County, it's time to head inside. If you're still hearing the rumbles of thunder, it is not safe to be outside. So just keep that in mind. That's another kind of indicator to you if potentially you lose cell service, or you don't have your phone on you, you can't hear us on the TV in another room. If you're hearing the rumbles of thunder, it's good to stay indoors. We always say when thunder roars, go indoors. So in terms of the reflectivity, so the image that you're looking at right now, we normally show this as it relates to just what's going on in terms of rain across our area. So it is still raining very heavily. That heaviest part of the rain is right now in the northwestern portion of St. Lucie County, also the northeastern portion of Okeechobee County. Those are where, just to the north of where the actual rotation would be. I'm going to highlight, where approximately it would be on this map right now. If there were still a tornado on the ground, it would be approximately right about there. That's kind of the hook part of the hook echo. So, if you're in that area or just to the north of it, or even if you're in the southern portion of Indian River County, there's that kind of corner of the turnpike that goes into Indian River County for just a second. If you're to the north of that area, it's time to head inside, time to head to your safe place. It's raining very heavily as well. Strong winds can be expected with this cell as it pushes through the northern part of Okeechobee and St. Lucie counties and into the southern portions of St. Lucie County. Fellsmere, it looks like you are just going to be to the east of this, but you're still going to get plenty of rainfall. You're still going to hear those strikes of lightning outside. So, if you are in the tornado warned area, you got that notification, you see that you're within the red box on your screen right now, you're inside, you're away from doors, you're away from windows, you're hopefully, hiding in a place that's safe to you. You have, heavy, something protective above your head, whether that's a roof, a good table. I know a lot of people like to say a mattress. So if you don't have a sturdy roof, if you have a mattress and you go into the bathroom, that's a good thing to put over your head. And again, that's what we're looking at. They haven't given us a new warning yet for the Indian River County area. So hopefully this storm is falling apart.
Yeah, and I want to let you know, we're not trying to overhype these individual cells here. We've had visual confirmation through this morning of multiple tornadoes active. So when we're on air covering it, we're trying to keep people safe involved with this, and that includes this individual cell here in Okeechobee County, where it is moving over a fairly rural area, but there are communities here, there are neighborhoods here as well. So this individual cell that we've been watching since Broward County essentially, as it moved into Palm Beach County and then moved into Martin and then Okeechobee County, and now we're watching it approach Indian River County. This individual cell still has the potential of producing that isolated tornado risk, and we still have that tornado threat for today too. So very important through the day today, have ways to receive alerts, whether it's on the Storm Track Weather app, make sure you have your location and make sure you have your notifications turned on so you're able to get those alerts. But this cell right here that we're watching in Okeechobee County is moving towards the Florida Turnpike and will move into Indian River County and move generally, I'm saying right now, to the west of Fellsmere, but Fellsmere, I want you on alert right now for this potential area as it moves into your county. We do have the threat for this individual tornado, where a tornado warning has been issued until 1:30. So we still have about 5 minutes left on this tornado warning, but I'm interested to see if the National Weather Service Office, and just as I say it, the National Weather Service Office has continued this has issued a new tornado warning for this individual supercell as it moves into Indian River County. And again, this one continues until 2 p.m. So we will still be on the air with you through about 2 o'clock with this individual cell. And we're now entering continuous coverage here on CBS 12 News anyways. So we are watching this individual cell as it moves into Indian River County. And 2 p.m. here, Indian River, Okeechobee, St. Lucie counties included in this tornado warning. And if any tornado were to happen, it would be right here. So Charlotte, can you give us an update on the bulletin that was issued from the National Weather Service office in Melbourne?
Of course. So right now, the National Weather Service in Melbourne issued a tornado warning, and that includes northwestern St. Lucie County, northeastern Okeechobee County, and southwestern Indian River County. This will last, like Jen said, until 2 p.m. They confirmed this tornado located near Fort Drum. It's moving north at 30 miles an hour. Emergency management has confirmed this tornado, so it is on the ground. If you are in a mobile home and you are in this tornado, if you're not actively experiencing rain, it's time to find a safe space, get something heavy over your head. Just stay safe, stay away from windows, stay away from doors. It should reach Fort Drum around 1:30 p.m., so about 4 minutes, and then Blue Cypress Lake, around 1:50. So I'll put a track on this really quickly to see, what exactly the towns that it's moving towards look like. And again, this does encapsulate the warning box that they issued. So let's see. Oh, it's not going to work here. That's okay. So regardless, if you find yourself within this polygon, this red area, if you find yourself
this area
in
right
the
here.
new one, yes, you should prepare to head inside. Get inside, away from doors, away from windows, go to your safe space now. Jen mentioned the helmet. If you have a helmet, because this is a confirmed tornado, it's been confirmed several times now, and it is at this point a long track tornado. So, it's continuing to rotate, producing, rotation on the ground. Whether it's actually touching the ground right now, we're not entirely sure of, but they seem to have confirmation that, there was at some point a tornado from emergency management. Lots of lightning as well, so that makes the cell itself unsafe due to that. And then heavy rain, lots of lightning, and strong winds as well.
And with this individual cell here, as it moves into Indian River County, the threat still continues. Fellsmere, you're just out of that box, but it does include some communities in the southwest portion of the Fellsmere area. So just a heads up, here's State Road 60 in Indian River County. So it will move over State Road 60 as it continues its north movement. And this is where we are anticipating this storm to move into. So let's get a bigger picture. If any tornadic activity were to occur, it's in this general area in Okeechobee County. But here's a look at where we are. Vero Beach, you're located right here in Indian River County. Vero Beach is in Indian River County. Fort Pierce is in St. Lucie County, and Port St. Lucie is in St. Lucie County. This is to your west, but I want you to pay attention to these cells right here. They're starting to move in. So we're going to start to see heavy rainfall, periods of heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty conditions too within these isolated cells. This is the individual cell though that continues to be warmed because we had that confirmation earlier. And so they're going to continue warning this until it heads into Brevard County and then eventually hopefully off the coastline, because our coastline kind of takes a slight northwest movement there. But the warning for southern Okeechobee County, that has been allowed to, it's going to be allowed to expire here because the threat is now moving north. So if you're in southern Okeechobee County, the threat of this individual supercell is now over, but we still have more cells just to the south that still could produce an isolated tornado threat. So this is the time to stay inside through this afternoon because we have this severe weather threat, all associated with Milton, which is about 200 miles away from our local area. But you could see the general, how these outer bands of Milton, as they move on shore, they produce this tornado risk. And so our wind right now is moving in from the south because Milton's here. Remember, winds turn counterclockwise around an area of low pressure, around a hurricane. So with the wind direction moving to the north here, our wind direction is from the south. So when storms develop, they move from south to north in this general area when you're directly east of the center of circulation, because Milton is moving to the northeast as it approaches landfall along the west coast of Florida here near the Tampa Bay area, potentially south into the Suncoast region where Manatee County is. You're talking the Bradenton area, parts of Anna Maria Island, that general area, Sarasota County. That's eventually where landfall will likely be of the system. But even well away from the center of a storm, we still see impacts. That's what we tell you. We still see the threat for severe weather, and we're seeing multiple tornado warnings getting issued associated with the outer bands of Milton. And you can see in our general area, and we have a new tornado warning that was issued for Palm Beach County. I did not see that earlier. Here's this individual one here in Palm Beach County. Okay, so let's take off our radar loop. This is introduced until 1:45 for this individual storm. It was likely just issued here. Here's the Beeline Highway. Here's Palm Beach County now. So if we pull up the lower third, I want everyone to know Palm Beach County is under tornado warning. This will enter Martin County. We'll see if the National Weather Service office in Melbourne continues it, but if it does that northerly trajectory, it would head over the Beeline Highway and then towards Canner Highway in Martin County. So you can see here, Storm Track Radar, tornado warning has been issued for Palm Beach County, and that continues until 1:45. And here's the Jupiter Farms area right here. That's Indiantown Road. So this is inland Palm Beach County along the northern section of it. Here's Jupiter, so it's to your west. But here's the Beeline Highway. This is where that individual cell is, and that's where we're watching for potential activity. If we could try to pull up maybe just one scan of the Palm Beach radar site, because this cell we might be able to get a good look at here. And if any sort of tornadic activity would occur, it would be in this general area. Again, cells are moving their way to the north, so they move in this general region, and you can see multiple lightning strikes associated with it, so that can be a sign of maybe starting to see some intensification. So it's very good that the National Weather Service Office Miami kind of saw this individual cell, thought, hey, we've seen multiple alerts, multiple warnings issued through the day. We've seen multiple confirmed tornadoes too. And this is the region we're watching right here for that general area rotation. This is kind of an upper level scan. You could see the green meeting parts of the red and a few lightning strikes too. That indicates that rotation is here. So if you do live at the intersection or live generally in that area where this tornado warning is, on the intersection of Indiantown Road and the Beeline Highway, this is where this individual thunderstorm is that could produce a tornado. I think it's radar indicated, so it is a radar indicated tornado, so there's no visual confirmation of it, and this is not the time to try to go outside to see any sort of confirmation.
So now that warning was extended into Martin County as well. So, you know, you kind of see the cell itself in the northern portion of Palm Beach County, just to the south of Beeline Highway. However, due to the fact that it is traveling north relatively quickly, Melbourne decided to preemptively issue their warning. Now that includes Martin and the southern portion of St. Lucie County, just outside of Port St. Lucie. It also is just to the west of Stewart. However, it does include some areas that, some very populated areas, just North River shores. It includes portions of Martin Highway along the Turnpike and to the west of the Turnpike. So I'll put a track on this to talk about some other areas that could possibly be included in this as well. It's also moving very fast, moving at about 35 miles an hour. Port St. Lucie, if they continue this warning through the end, or through once it ends, about 211, Eldred 219. But besides that, the radar isn't picking up on any other, majorly populated. And again, I think the population it requires it's pretty great. So if you notice you got the warning on your phone that you are within the tornado warning area, if you are in the central portion of Martin County, the northern portion of Palm Beach County, just to the south of Beeline Highway, or if you're in the southern portion of St. Lucie County, you are within this warned area. And then I want to go back quickly to this other area that we've been watching, dropping some heavy rain. Now this is the Miami site, so I'm going to switch it over to the Melbourne site really quickly.
Yeah, so we're watching this individual cell. Wow, pretty impressive.
That's Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, here's all that lightning strikes. So here's the heavy rainfall threat too. So this is our northern Okeechobee. So the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida, told us that an emergency manager reported that just a few minutes ago they had visual confirmation of the tornado warning on the ground about 15 minutes ago near State Road 70. The tornado warning has been extended northward into Indian River County. So that's why they extended into Indian River County. And we're still starting to see the heavy rainfall threat and potentially area rotation, but starting to broaden out a little bit, but still it has had history of producing a tornado. So heavy rainfall, frequent lightning associated with this as it moves over the Florida Turnpike. This would be a cool image to see. Maybe if we get highway cameras of this just to show how heavy the rainfall is. State Road 60 right here, located to the north of it. Here's the junction of the State Road 60, the Florida Turnpike, and 441 here. So this is the Yeehaw Junction right here of that interchange. So starting to see some heavy rainfall, but that's just to the south and east there of that Yeehaw Junction. So as this moves north, you could see the Florida Turnpike right here. Heavy rainfall associated with it as it moves into portions of Indian River County. And if any sort of tornadic activity occurs, it would be generally in the southern section. That's historically where we've seen some of that. It would generally be in that southern section there as it moves its way into Indian River County. And again, that threat continues as well. So let's get a bigger picture of generally where this is, because I want to show Fellsmere and Sebastian. Fellsmere, you're right here. It's to your southwest. Here's Sebastian right here. It's also to your southwest. This is the coast with Vero Beach. So it is in inland Martin County, right along the junction, right along the Florida Turnpike, where the heavy rainfall and frequent lightning activity is ongoing. And anytime we see frequent lightning, that indicates intensification and inside of a supercell thunderstorm. So again, this individual thunderstorm is what we're watching for that potential rotation. And again, this is the cell that we've been monitoring as it entered Palm Beach County, moved into Lake Okeechobee, and then moved just off the coast of Martin County over Lake Okeechobee, and then entered Okeechobee County. Here's another image right here of that other tornado warning that was issued for this cell that's now moving out of Palm Beach County over the Beeline Highway and entering Martin County. A few lightning strikes associated with it too. You can kind of see that general area where the heaviest rainfall is occurring. This is Canner Highway. This is Beeline Highway. Here's Indiantown. So it's just to your east. So Indiantown, you are under the tornado warning. As we've said all morning, take every warning today seriously, and take every warning in general seriously, because this individual cell was radar indicated for potential rotation, and as it moves into Martin County, the National Weather Service office in Melbourne gave you a heads up. So it's important to go into your interior room, your safe place. That's an interior room, in a closet, or whether it's in a bathroom, and kind of stay there until this warning expires. Some of these cells have been pretty robust as they develop. So this is the time to get into your safe place if you live anywhere along Canner Highway and along the Beeline Highway in parts of Palm Beach County. Here's Indiantown Road. Here's Pratt Whitney Road as it heads north into Martin County. So it's generally to the west of that. Here's that individual cell we're watching with torrential downpour ongoing. So again, this does include the city of Okeechobee, and in the Martin County area, this warning continues until 2:15. So we'll continue to remain on air with this tornado warning and any other warning that does get active at this time. So here's the Florida Turnpike in Martin County. It's to the west of the Florida Turnpike. Here's Stewart to the south, to the southwest. This cell is moving north. Our wind direction is from the south right now, so any storm that develops is going to get pushed north, and we have the environment to produce tornadoes today. We have a very unstable atmosphere this afternoon, and the instability is high. And we also have the wind shear associated with Milton that will could potentially produce any sort of tornadic activity. So here's a look right now at that individual cell. You can see the green and then the red indicated there. So if there's any sort of rotation, it would be in that general area. But I'm noticing that it's to the rotation. So if this is from the Miami site, right, Charlotte?
Yep.
So the Miami site is down south. And so I'm seeing the gust, so this is when heading towards the radar side, this is when heading away. So this could either be, this could be a downdraft, so producing very gusty winds and with that general direction. Sometimes we want them to be kind of vertical on the, if I could show you with my hands, it's a little difficult on a chroma key, but we kind of want them vertical instead of having it in a horizontal position. But regardless, this was tornado warm, so it's very important to take this seriously, because even if a tornado warning isn't here, and even if a funnel cloud isn't showing, it's still potentially producing very strong wind gust within this individual cell, and so that's what we're monitoring right here as it moves into Martin County. So this does include Palm Beach County, but the one in Martin County continues until 2:30. So if you're in Indiantown, you're going to want to stay in your safe place again until this warning expires at 2:30. We have more cells developing across the area. If we actually show the image of Palm Beach County right now, you can kind of see the vertical scan of that too. You can see how high some of these storms are going, 30,000 feet into the atmosphere. So very, not quite as tall as some of our afternoon thunderstorms get during the summertime, but we have quite a bit of shear in the upper levels of the atmosphere, so that can help to kind of create any sort of instability and create any sort of tornado threat. So here's a look right now at that individual cell now moving a torrential downpour right now over parts of the Fuller Turnpike. As it enters Indian River County, State Road 60 is right here. You can see as it enters Indian River County, that rainfall threat will move along with it. Fairly rural area, but still important to take it seriously because the Yeehaw Junction is right here. So this isn't the time to be out on the roads right now, and it isn't the time to kind of venture out to try to see anything if you live in Fellsmere, because it's to your southwest and you're kind of looking directly at rainfall. But still, you want to stay inside. You don't really want to venture out and try to see anything, because any sort of rotation would be generally in this direction. Switch. So I'm going to let Charlotte walk on the chroma key now, but here's that individual cell again. The tornado warning continues until 2 p.m. for Indian River County, and we do have that threat that will linger around heading through the afternoon. That threat continues into the afternoon as we have a tornado watch in our area.
Yeah, so this tornado warning does expire at 2 p.m. However, our tornado watch does not expire until 9 p.m. And they actually extended the tornado watch. Again, this isn't really important for us because we're all under the tornado watch anyway, but they did extend the tornado watch actually to the north. So right now we have 2 active tornado warnings across the area. We have one up in Indian River County that includes the northeastern corner of Okeechobee County and also the northwestern corner of St. Lucie County. And then we also have plenty of other tornado warnings over to our west, but we're going to focus on the 2 that we have right now. We have another one that's in northern Palm Beach County that was now extended into Martin County and the southern corner of St. Lucie County. So we will be continually covering these for y'all, especially because the one in Indian River County had a history of producing tornadoes. It also had a visual confirmation along State Road 70 of a tornado from an emergency manager. So that's something worthy of noting, is they are trained spotters. So something to keep in mind is there was visual confirmation of the tornado in Indian River County, while the one in Palm Beach County should still be taken seriously. It was a radar indicated tornado, and we're not getting as strong of velocity signals on the one in Palm Beach County. It's mostly because it's moving into Martin County. It doesn't look like the Melbourne radar wants to scan for velocity right now. But we're getting a good signal, at least with the Melbourne one, of that hook echo, which is what we look for on reflectivity, what specifically the radar operators look for when they are trying to issue tornado warnings. So what we're looking at, textbook pretty much was what we were seeing with some of the rotation, especially along with the reflectivity imagery. So the reflectivity is just the one that plots rainfall. And then with the one in Palm Beach County that's pushing into Martin County, a little bit weaker of a signal, but still, you know, a lot of these storms do have the potential to rotate, mostly because of the direction in which they are moving, but also due to the nature of us being under a tornado watch. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of things working against us in terms of having good weather today. You know, Milton just, you know, wanted to give us a really wet day and also, you know, give us many tornado warnings.
So the plan is to let the north central Palm Beach County warning expire shortly. So the one that's moving into in Martin County, but the threat still continues from Martin County there.
What's that?
And we got a camera up. If someone could let me know where this is. This looks like a highway camera. Ah, perfect.
Okay,
So this is the turnpike near Yeehaw Junction. So here's a look at that general area. You can kind of see the dark clouds associated with it on that camera feed. And this is the tornado warning that continues for Indian River County, Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one is in effect until 2 p.m. It is showing that hook signature, which again, textbook in terms of reflectivity of what tornadoes look like. So, you know, we might not be able to actually see the tornado, especially if the camera operators at 511 aren't as, you know, excited about the tornado as the ones that were along the turnpike. But we are seeing the really, really dark clouds. So if you see a cloud like this, it is time to go inside, especially if you are in the southern portion of Indian River County. You're along 60. You are along State Road 512. You are in Fellsmere. Even though Fellsmere is not included in this warning, I wouldn't be surprised if they put them in the next warning, or maybe they were just outside of the next warning. But overall, if you're starting to hear some thunder and you're in northern Okeechobee or southern Indian River County, it's time to go inside. Even if you're in the northern portion of Indian River County, you're starting to get some of that lighter rainfall. It's time to go inside. You know, this is a cell that has produced tornadoes. I know we sound like broken records saying this, but this has produced tornadoes so far today. So it's important to heed these tornado warnings, to go inside, treat every tornado warning like there is an active tornado on the ground, especially because, you know, they do jog slightly to the left and to the right, just like to the east and to the west, rather, just like when we talk about hurricanes in their tracks, they're jogging. So,
okay,
you know,
Charlotte, we have a new warning issued for okay, so this does include the city of Okeechobee. So if you are in the city of Okeechobee, we have a new tornado warning issued. Charlotte, let me read off the tornado warning bulletin. At 1:44 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Taylor Creek or near Treasure Island, moving north at 35 miles per hour. Again, this is a radar indicated rotation, so there is no visual observation on this individual severe thunderstorm, but it does, we've had the history of storms producing rotation, and I'm going to try to see if maybe we can get a velocity image of this to kind of show you what the eventual image could be. And this individual cell, again, has the history of producing, these cells, through the day have had the history of producing a tornado threat. And when we get a general rotation, I can try to show you where that general rotation could be. And again, in Okeechobee County, you're under a tornado warning. This does continue until,
2 p.m.
2:30, is that what I said?
Oh, I said, it says 2.
2:30.
Oh.
That's for the one in Indian River County.
Oh.
So this one extends until 2:30. So this is one that a severe thunderstorm over Taylor Creek right now is producing the potential of a rotation. And so this does include the city of Okeechobee. So this is a fairly populated area. If you're under this tornado warning, you need to take it seriously. You need to head to an interior room of your home. This is away from doors and windows. Think an interior bathroom or in an interior closet. And you're going to want to stay there until this warning expires or until you're told it's okay to come out of your safe place. So again, this is the general area we're watching. If any sort of rotation were to occur, it would likely be just along the coast of Okeechobee, and you can kind of see some of that individual cell itself. So this is a radar indicated rotation, so that general rotation, if anything were to occur, it would be just south of the lake region and kind of over downtown Okeechobee. So here's a look at 441 is generally over, 441 goes north to south in the city of Okeechobee, and then State Road 98 kind of meets up with the Beeline Highway there. So this is that area we're talking about in in downtown Okeechobee along the Okeechobee coastline, and then this will extend further inland towards Cypress Quarters, and then eventually inland towards the 441 as it's kind of going to follow the track of 441 as it moves its way onshore. So we have some lightning strikes associated with it, and I'll kind of show you that reflectivity of it too. You can kind of see that general area is what we're watching for that potential rotation. So let me see if I can pull up a radar site to kind of see if we can get any sort of indication. So Okay, so here's
cool.
a live picture right now from the city of Okeechobee. So if our photographer here, make sure they're staying safe. But this is the city of Okeechobee right now. You can see wet roads right currently, but nothing that I'm visually observing on camera. And you can see that semi-trucks kind of heading in that direction. So. Again, Okeechobee County is under a tornado warning. It's important to take this tornado warning seriously. And Charlotte, I'll let you take over right now.
Yeah, so the tornado is traveling quickly. All of them are about 30, 35, some even quicker, 40 miles an hour as they're pushing up towards the north, all associated with the outer rain bands of Hurricane Milton. So right now, Milton is a Category 4 hurricane, I think, still. Maybe we've gotten the 2 p.m. update. But anyway, so heavy rainfall associated with this, lightning strikes. It is tracking up towards the north. Again, many of these cells have histories of producing tornadoes on the ground, visually confirmed multiple times. We had some actually cross Alligator Alley. This warning includes Indian River, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie County. It lasts until 2:30 p.m. This one in Okeechobee County. The one in Indian River County lasts until 2 p.m. It does kind of clip other corners of the counties as well. So if your phone went off saying that you are in a tornado warning, it's time to head to your safe space, time to head indoors, especially with these some of these tornado warnings that have had histories of longer track tornadoes. They have the potential to interact with lots of heat, potentially strengthen. We see about 4 or 5 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes, heavy downpours. 28th Street in downtown Okeechobee, Taylor Creek, Sherman, you're all within this tornado warning. We are seeing a little bit of a signal of some rotation right now on our velocity imagery, heading up towards the north quickly, 30 to 35 miles an hour. So again, find your safe space. And if you have anything heavy like a mattress and you're able to hide away from windows and doors, put that over your head. And that's another safe thing that you can do here. Along 441, this is kind of going to track over and then head up north on 441. It'll eventually cross Highway 98, Okeechobee Road. So if you are within this tornado warning, please take it seriously. Head inside, away from those doors and windows. Be sure that you are remaining in the safe place until we tell you it's clear or until this warning expires. Can we take a look at some of the other warnings? The one in Martin County.
Let's zoom out and kind of show you the overview. We have multiple warnings in place for our local area, all in the Treasure Coast right now in Okeechobee County, inland Treasure Coast, I should say, not along the immediate coastline. But we have one warning that's just a new warning that was issued by the National Weather Service office in Melbourne, Florida. It kind of includes basically all of Martin County except for the coastal region. This one is just for inland Martin County. I can kind of see the box now. It's a little difficult to see, but you can see these 2 individual cells right here, right along the coast of Okeechobee County and right along the coast of Martin County, over 441, have shown some signals of potential rotation. And I'm going to show you our radar loop just to see if maybe we can get a visual image of maybe if we could see any sort of hook echo. But you can see here, so we have a few areas that are showing some rotation. So I want to circle a few of them for you right now. So these are kind of right over the lake, but if they generally move in that same direction, they will move onshore as tornadic activity. So here's one area that we're watching. This is just to the west there, 441 in inland Martin County. This is to the west of Indiantown. So Indiantown, this is not the cell that we're watching for you. And then this general area right here along the northern shore of Okeechobee County is another area watching for potential rotation as well. And then, of course, we have that area along the coast of Okeechobee, but I'm not really seeing any strong signals there. Regardless, it's important to take every warning seriously. If you are under a tornado warning, take this one seriously. So these two storms right here, at 1:50 p.m., severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near J&S Fish Camp, moving to the north at 30 miles per hour. And this was in western Martin County and southeastern Okeechobee County. Any areas that this would be near the J&S Fish Camp. And other locations that might be included would be in the Port Mayaca area as well, especially with this individual cell here in parts of western Martin County. So here's Port Mayaca, it's just to your west. So 441 there is right along the coastline here, and then Bessemer as well is to your west. So this is the general area of rotation right along the coast of Lake Okeechobee that could be producing a water spout that could move onshore as tornadic activity. So we have multiple tornado warnings in effect right now. I'll show you the bigger picture on our radar loop here. Multiple tornado warnings issued for our local area, all associated with the outer bands of Hurricane Milton in the Gulf of Mexico. And this is we knew we had the risk for tornadoes today, and we've told you through the morning that we've had the risk for tornadoes, and we're seeing it play out at this time in the way of multiple warnings. I'll even show you our tornado watch graphic here, which can kind of show you just all the active warnings right now across South Florida, and you can see it there right around the Okeechobee region, with more just in the southwest across Monroe and Hendry County. How many warnings are being issued right now? I mean, I can't even count them currently because there's just so many. But you can see the actual, the threat is there. We're watching these individual cells, and we have the atmosphere to produce tropical tornadoes. We were under enhanced risk for severe weather today, and we are under a tornado watch that continues into the evening. So this is a situation that we're watching, especially this cell in Indian River County starting to show some frequent lightning, maybe showing another hook echo develop. This is to the southwest of the Fellsmere area in inland Indian River County. And Charlotte, I'm watching these cells move through the region, and it is quite impressive just to see just how defined some of these radar signatures are. I mean, just how defined and how impressive they are looking.
Yeah, this is, they show you when you're in your meteorology classes what a tornado looks like on radar, and this is what they look like. We're seeing the couplets in the velocity scans. I know we haven't seen some recently, especially up along the Treasure Coast, but those ones earlier that were from Broward that moved into Palm Beach, they were textbook tornadoes. We had visual confirmation, so we were able to, kind of confirm what was going on our radar visually. We also have now seen several others that, replicate exactly what the first ones look like. And although, some of them have been visually confirmed at this point, we're seeing lots of these cells pop up. So it's going to become harder and harder for, the emergency managers and trained spotters to kind of pick them up. Because if you're looking inland Martin County, inland St. Lucie County, if you're not receiving rain from one cell, you're receiving rain from another. So it's not necessarily that they're rain wrapped, but it's just kind of there's a lot of rain around the tornadoes themselves.
And Charlotte, if we're looking at this cell here in central Martin County, you can see it's heading north towards Port St. Lucie. So Port St. Lucie, I want you on alert right now. You are not part of the southern portion of Port St. Lucie is under this tornado warning. But the general area of Port St. Lucie, and I will say eventually down the road, maybe an hour from now, Fort Pierce, this is the cell we're watching in your area. So right now, I want you thinking, where am I heading inside my home when a tornado warning is issued? I'm going to head into an interior room. I'm going to go away from doors and windows, and I'm going to stay there. The entire Treasure Coast should be on alert right now for these cells as they move from the south to the north. This is a situation where we're struggling to keep up with all the tornado warnings being issued right now. So this is an impressive situation ongoing, and you can just see how many cells are being tornado warned right now. And we have another one that was just issued for northern Okeechobee and Indian River County. So this threat continues through the day today. We have the potential for severe weather. We've been talking about it all morning and through the start of the week, and this is starting to play out. We had lots of sun this morning that heated up the ground, and when you have heating of the ground, that produces instability in the atmosphere. We have shear from Hurricane Milton located 200 miles away from us, and we have the moisture associated with a hurricane too. We have the environment that's favorable for tornadoes. So every tornado warning needs to be taken seriously today, and you need to think, where am I going to head when a tornado warning is issued for my area? And this threat will continue through the afternoon today, and we'll continue to keep coverage on here on CBS 12 because the tornado warnings are still ongoing at this time. So you can kind of see that general area. This cell here in Indian River County has just crossed our entire viewing area. It went from Broward County into Palm Beach County, into Okeechobee, Lake Okeechobee, and then into Martin County, and then into Okeechobee and St. Lucie County. And I'm joined now by Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed here. He's going to continue coverage with us because I've been here since 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, you've been holding it down.
We've been on air covering these tornado warnings since 9 o'clock. So yeah, this threat continues across the area, and we're going to kind of reset here, but the warnings are still ongoing. So I'm going to let you guys continue to use this computer, and I'm going to help drive things for you, Vitas.
Okay, and we really appreciate all the service from our morning team, and the meteorologist has been going at it this morning. We appreciate Lauren in here, Jennifer, and also Charlotte. They've been working hard tracking the storm. A lot of tornado warnings early on, as we've been seeing, and one of the main threats that we have with hurricanes, people think, oh, it's the center of circulation out there on the western edge of the state that has not even made landfall yet, but we are still seeing the outer bands, which are also a very, very key component to these storms, the circulation and rotation, creating tornado warnings. And we have already seen video confirmation of tornadoes that have touched down. In fact, earlier, one of the first ones touching down there in Broward County earlier this morning, several hours ago, crossing I-75. A lot of things on social media showing this, and those can cause damage, especially in a highly populated area. So let's talk about what's going on out there. We have currently, what I'm concerned with as far as population areas, Okeechobee, you do have a tornado warning, actually, that we're looking at currently in your area that's coming off Lake Okeechobee, moving into your area, and we have a lot of lightning and thunder, and we have a lot of rotation in these cells. So you can see here, we do have that current tornado warning for your area until 2 p.m. This is for Indian River, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie counties because they're all kind of clumped together. Several tornado warnings back to back, several cells right next to each other. So we go and look a little closer. You can see Michael Ehrenberg has a mic on right now, and we'll get some information from him as well. But as he zooms in, and it looks like we are seeing Whispering Springs. This is up near 441 and also near Okeechobee Road. If you're in these areas, you should be taking shelter immediately, moving from exterior walls and windows of your area and move into an interior portion of your house, because this is going to be the safest place you can go, like a bathroom or a closet, away from exterior walls and windows. We've already had several confirmations with tornadoes on the ground. That doesn't mean it's just a funnel cloud, something spinning in the atmosphere that hasn't touched down. We're talking about something that's actually possibly that has touched down. So coming off of Lake Okeechobee as a waterspout, that we're seeing it as a tornado potentially moving north. You could see it will continue to track north on 441, and as it does so, we're going to continue to track this very closely. Let's see what's else out there. Zoom out a little bit there for me, Michael, and we'll kind of take a look at what's happening just to the southeast of us. Some other tornado warnings. We can kind of get a bigger picture here. You pretty much see that rotation here. Once again, on Doppler radar, when we see that green and that red, that indicates there is rotation, strong rotation in a thunderstorm cell. We're talking about Doppler radar showing raindrops going one way and raindrops going another, and in the middle you usually have that rotation. But we can see this tornado warning here for Martin County and over towards Indiantown, Okeechobee County, and this is going to be until 2:30, as we've seen this come up out of Palm Beach County. Michael and I actually were watching this over in the other studio. We're like, this is going to possibly become a tornado warning a little while ago. There's Michael there. He's kind of driving the computers, and it looks like what we see here, Michael. One of the main concerns is that many tornado warnings that we're seeing. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, we've had several tornado warnings out there. Right now, it looks like we've got about 4.
Make sure your mic's on, hot.
We've about 4 or 5 tornado warnings that have been issued so far over the last 30 minutes or so, with more tornado warnings that were issued since 9:30 this morning.
Okay. I don't know. We'll just get your mic all hot here. We're just transitioning from our morning team to the evening team. So getting his mic opened here, and just do a quick mic check, make sure we got you.
All right, I think we're on there now. There we go.
Okay, let's go back to Michael real quick. Double screen. We can see that. What were you saying about that tornado? Go ahead.
Well, we've got about 4 or 5 tornado warnings right now, Vitas, across parts of Martin County and Okeechobee County. They expire anywhere from 2 to 2:15 to 2:30 right now. And, this is, I would call this a tornado outbreak. A lot of times times when hurricanes make landfall, the outer bands, there's a lot of wind shear associated with them, and we've been seeing that twisting and turning of winds with height. The first tornado warnings occurred down across parts of Broward County and the southwest part of Palm Beach County around 9:30 this morning. And as these cells work their way from south to north, we're continuing to see more tornado warnings that are working through the area. We've got an enhanced risk. We don't normally have that for parts of the Treasure Coast, an enhanced risk and a tornado watch until 9 o'clock this evening. So again, we continue to see a lot of tornado warning activity out there as we take a look at the radar there, Venus.
Yes. And so once again, we are going to continue to track this activity moving through, and we're definitely have the risks there, the risk factor out there. And if you zoom out, give us a big, broad picture of the big area real quick. You can kind of see.
Look at all those tornado warnings.
Yeah, look at all the tornado warnings. And if you go even a little further, let's go a little further out where we can see the eye of Milton. Take a look at Milton, still sitting off coast, has not made landfall. But when we talk about the dangers out there, and we're under a tropical storm warning here, it's really the outer bands of the tornado warnings that we could see do damage. In fact, my cousins are here from Cape Coral visiting me. I called them, said, come on over. They're at the house now, and they are getting all kind of tornado warnings. He's a pilot, so it's like he's getting those pinging on his phone, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm getting all these warnings in my area, and we could see how it's affecting our area. So let's look back here where we're concerned. If you're over just west of I-95, and you can see that this area is just west of Stewart, and this is going to get up towards Port St. Lucie in Tradition. Now, there's a lot of folks that have new developments up there. This is coming your direction, so you should be taking steps immediately to go to an interior portion of your house, a sturdy room. That means a bathroom or a closet. You can grab a pillow, a bicycle helmet, whatever you can get to give yourself a little bit of protection if this is on the ground. And why there's some pretty good indication this is pretty much a strong storm. Now, we might be able to start tapping into some of the cameras along the toll road here. There's a lot of M-dot cameras or F-dot cameras, that is, that you can see. That's how we saw some of those tornadoes earlier. But nonetheless, to see if this is actually on the ground, and if it is so, if you could draw a track on it up towards St. Lucie County, let's see what time of arrival we might see it in your area. You only have maybe about 20 minutes or so to get some coverage. So we're talking about these areas possibly having maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to try to take some shelter. Port St. Lucie is a very well-established area. There's a lot of homes, a lot of developments, retirement centers, hospitals, all of that, all in these areas. So I know that folks are out and about in some areas. I saw people on the roads as I'm driving to work, as Michael probably saw that as well. And people are at restaurants. There's still some shops and stores open. And, it's one of those things when we say tropical storm warning and we're getting closer to the time of those rain bands coming in, you should probably be in your homes, be in a secure area, a safe location where you don't, where you may not run into this, but you have a place to go. So he popped up this, thank you, Michael, looking at 2:49 p.m. Port St. Lucie, River Park at 2:59. So that puts us in within the next 40, 45 minutes as these storms can be moving pretty quickly as it has a pretty good peg. So what we see is the green here and the red here. That means with the radar, raindrops are going towards or away from the radar. So we're seeing it going away and coming towards, and usually right in the middle of that, you generally have what's called a couplet. What the couplet is actually where we're seeing the rotation combining, meeting, and causing that spin action, becoming a funnel cloud or a tornado. So this potentially could be a tornado west of Southwest 48th Avenue, and you can see Martin Highway and the Turnpike just off to the east by a few miles. So this is a dangerous situation that we are talking about. Michael used a good term talking about tornado outbreak. Let's get Michael back in here. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, Venus, I mean, that's what you call this. I mean, with several tornado warnings, I mean, we've got about 4 or 5 active on the ground right now. The tornado warnings, we've had several across Palm Beach County and the western part of Lake Okeechobee this morning. And yeah, the Storm Prediction Center has put us under an enhanced risk for severe weather this afternoon, which is risks go from a scale from 1 to 5, and this is 3 in the middle, and that means the potential for numerous severe weather episodes, including tornadoes, okay? Yeah. And a lot of times tornadoes that occur with hurricanes are usually EF0s or EF1s,
right.
But we have a very real chance that we get an EF2 tornado today. Again, we've seen some of that video. I'm sure the Weather Service, VDS, is going to be going out and, surveying the damage once these things are gone by. Okay. And we'll continue to monitor this.
Well, let's see. Let's go back to that tornado warning. This is a confirmation one. When we go purple. Now,
that's out west.
This is
Yeah.
out west. But whenever you get that purple, this is showing a confirmation saying, okay, over in this county, in Highlands County, Lake Placid, over towards Lake Placid, this area outside of our region, showing that there is a confirmed tornado warning visually. That means that has been spotted on the ground. And we've already seen that on our side of the state as well. So just highlighting that there. But nonetheless, if you are in Okeechobee, we'll get back to where we are. Near Okeechobee, the city, you have more population in that area. You may definitely take shelter. Go to an interior portion of your house. This is just north of downtown. We know that just up 441, those areas, there's a small airport up there, your airport. Also, in the main strip of downtown Okeechobee, you have all your shops and everything. You start getting into some of those ranches and some of the farmland up here, but nonetheless, this area right here is the area of concern heading out of Okeechobee, and you have to just make sure you take shelter. So Dixie Ranch Acres, that's next in line as far as a possibility. So you're looking just northwest of downtown Okeechobee. If you're watching us or hearing us online, remember you can catch us on, if your signal's not coming through, say you don't have a cable, or say you're just getting off air digital with our signal, you can watch us on CBS 12. Our signal is there, cbs12.com, or you can download our app, CBS 12 app, and you can also watch us live as we're trying to give you the latest warnings. So once again, another serious situation. Now, you're familiar with Port St. Lucie. You're familiar with out there towards Tradition. A lot of new development, a lot of new growth up in this area.
There really
It's
is.
been expanding immensely, and we have a lot of folks that live up there. And some folks have moved down here. Now we have to remember as we take a look at that camera. Okay, this is near Tradition. Okay, this is a live camera up near Tradition, and we can see this is an FDOT camera. Thank you for bringing it up from the control room. We see very dark clouds, heavy rain, and you see the cars trying to drive through that. They have to go at slower speeds because you get a little bit of ruts in the roadway where the tires go, and you get that water filling it up. You can run into hydroplaning, but if this is an actual tornado on the ground, this may be doing some damage, possibly if it goes through a populated area. And like I said, Michael, a lot of folks, we're just at the beginning of the snowbirds coming down.
Right. Yeah, you're right, Venus.
Yeah. And our population has swollen in this area.
It really has. A lot of folks in line there. And Venus, looks like the Weather Service has put in or layered in yet another tornado warning. This is in effect for southern St. Lucie County and north central Martin County. And this goes until 2:45.
Yeah.
There's so many of them, but as you can see, a little bit of a couplet has formed, according to the Weather Service, near the Palm City area. It's moving north at 30 miles per hour. Again, this is a radar indicator rotation. No confirmation yet. We would be looking for that from, either viewers or video. But anyway, there could be some flying debris, which is dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed. There can be damage to roofs and vehicles, and tree damage is likely. Now, this storm is going to be near Port St. Lucie, Tradition around 2:10 p.m., River Park at 2:49, Indian River Estates at 3:03 this afternoon. Yet again, another tornado warning that's been issued for our area, and this one now goes until 2:45. So this is the latest tornado warning that's just been issued, again, according to the National Weather Service in the Melbourne vicinity. And again, we're looking at the couplet down there where you're seeing green against red or purple, indicating winds going in one direction with one color, winds going in another direction with another color. So you can kind of envision a little bit of a rotation in an area. Again, in northern parts of Martin County, moving north at a speed of 30 miles per hour. So heads up there, Port St. Lucie, River Park, Indian River Estates, and other areas in between, potential for a tornado touching down on the ground between now and 2:45 this afternoon.
Yeah, Michael, this could be a very dangerous situation. Like you said, this is considered a tornado outbreak when you have multiple tornadoes at once. And we've been tracking these ever since early this morning. Our morning team was at it beginning early this morning, as early as around 9 a.m.?
9:30. So this is about, 4.5 hours of tornado
Yeah,
warnings.
and they were on with straight coverage as they were tracking those actual pictures showing tornadoes touching down south of us in parts of Brown County, also into Palm Beach County, over in Hendry, and also Glades County. But nonetheless, this is going to continue, and we have a long day ahead of us. And we were talking about this for the last couple of days as far as what is the extent of our threat here. And you noticed in your neighborhood, some folks put up some shutters,
Yeah,
which is
maybe
cool.
about
That's okay.
less than 10%.
Yeah, folks down in this area put up some shutters. If you feel better to do that, I say go ahead and do that. But where we actually have the tropical storm strengthening to hurricane strength up in Indian River, as well well as Okeechobee County and St. Lucie County. You're under hurricane warnings. Well, with that, I always say just put up your shutters if you're under hurricane warning. And I'm never saying don't put it up in your neighborhood if you're down here in Palm Beach County or in Martin County with tropical storm warning, because the main threat for us, I was thinking, is going to be the tornadoes, because if you get tornadoes touching down in some of those rain bands, that's where they're gusts. So we get these rain bands coming through. It'll be one after another, and they have our sustained winds will be anywhere from 29 to 39 miles per hour, gusting up to 45 to 50 at times in some of our areas. Now, our daily average thunderstorms in these rain bands, we get summer thunderstorms that crank out with a severe thunderstorm warning, 60 to 65, 70-mile-an-hour winds sometimes. So we can see this throughout a summer. But when we get these rain bands coming in, they're individual cells that have a lot of rotation. It's really spinning in there because of all the vorticity in the atmosphere because of Milton sitting several hundred miles to the west. So the potential and the threat for us will really be the tornado warnings that come up or those wind gusts. So we're going to continue to see this, and the landfall will happen until possibly midnight, after midnight tonight, and our winds really start to pick up after midnight as far as the tropical storm force winds.
And Leadus, we're going to have our director go over to Max 2 if we can for both me and also Vitas right now. We do have some safety tips to go on Max 2, so if we could switch that over and we can kind of show the radar with a little bit of different information right now. There again is what's going on Max 2. It's just a different weather computer, if you will. So just to kind of run over some of these tornado warnings now, again, we've got one in effect for Okeechobee County, including Cypress Quarters, Okeechobee, and Taylor Creek. Looks like that went over to an observed situation where it looks like there's been an observed tornado somewhere in Okeechobee County. Again, this is moving from south to north at a speed of 30 miles an hour. The latest tornado warning, though, is this one in Martin and St. Lucie County. As you'll notice there on radar, this is in effect until 2:45. It includes Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, and the River Park vicinity. Further south, we've got another tornado warning, which encompasses northwestern parts of, it looks like, Martin County, Palm City, just to the north and west of Indiantown. We also have another warning a little further south along the Palm Beach, Martin County line, including Indiantown and the Port Mayaca area. Meanwhile, we're also watching other cells which are drifting up from south to north in Palm Beach County. So it's possible that some of these undergo a tornado warning rather soon. We'll definitely let you know regarding whether or not that occurs across the CBS 12 viewing area. So this is all coming under an enhanced risk for severe weather across the area today. Through this evening for both Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast, there can be several tornadoes, and they'll have strong wind gusts, heavy downpours, and even some lightning, which of course we've been seeing on the radar out there. And the tornado watch, which means the potential for tornadoes, and again, we're seeing them confirmed numerous times now with the tornado warnings. This tornado watch goes into effect for all areas until 9 o'clock tonight. Now back to Vitas.
Real quick, let's just zoom down to Okeechobee County. There's a tag now for confirmation. We were talking about that tornado. We zoom into Okeechobee County, that particular cell there. We have a current tornado warning, and you can see that the threat is considerable, and we have Cypress Quarters as well as Okeechobee, the city, and Taylor Creek. As this is going to continue to move north, this warning is until 2:30. That means that there has been confirmation of an actual tornado spotted or on the ground. So that means folks in those areas, if we zoom down and we can see there's a couple areas of rotation. Earlier it was this cell that we were kind of tracking as that was closer to the downtown area moving up to this direction. But remember, there's a lot of cells that are rotating. There's also that one that's just to the east. You can see here that also has rotation in it. So it could be one of the two that we're looking at. But right now, as far as what we were watching earlier was this cell here. So this is a live look we can see up towards Okeechobee, and we're looking at the video here showing those dark clouds. And what we look for, sometimes in these thunderstorms, you'll see fast-moving clouds, and then you see these dangling clouds kind of moving along, and they're kind of just moving with the clouds. Those are considered scuds. We call those scuds. Those are just kind of dipping clouds. But when you see a rotating column of air, it's like dipping down, and you can see that rotating. that generally is a funnel cloud. And a funnel cloud, if it touches down, means it's a tornado warning. Now, can we see off in the distance, are those clouds? I got to step a little closer to the screen here. I see those dark clouds off in the distance, and we are definitely getting some heavy downpours of rain, gusty winds, and if we have a confirmation, that means either someone has spotted it, a weather spotter, sheriff, fire department. Generally, they're trained in looking for these types of things of what they really are. So I'm feeling like we're looking at this right here as being possibly the tornado. You can kind of see there could be a couplet there. And when we say couplet, that means there is winds going towards and away from the radar. Doppler radar looks at all the raindrops in a storm, and it's that sensitive. It can see if raindrops are going away or from. And right there, if you got some going away or towards, then you got spinning action right in the middle of that. And generally that means there's a couplet, and then we can see if there's anything being picked up. You want to drop in a coalition coefficient? What that is that means we could see possibility of any debris picking up, like if it's picking up wood or trees or branches, we'll see if that comes up. So we are getting some indication here. When you see this brightness here in that blue color shade, this is a different enhancement in the radar. It's called coalition coefficient. And what that means is this is looking at if there's any debris. There could be a debris ball. So what we do have is a lot of dust, rocks, anything that tornado would be picking up. It actually is creating what we call a debris ball. So near Dixie Ranch Acres, which we said was under this warning, this would be just north of you. If you're in these areas or plan on driving anywhere, you're out on Southern Boulevard on 98, on Route 98 up in Okeechobee County, you do not want to be on this road. You want to make sure you take shelter, move from the exterior walls and windows of your house. Nobody has basements down here in Florida, so you have to go to an interior portion of your house and find that nice sturdy place to be. Grab a pillow, grab something you put over your head, your neck, that's what you want to protect, and then you want to make sure you take shelter. So we're watching this cell very closely, and Michael, as you continue to talk about what we're seeing here, this is a very dangerous situation. Now notice that with the updated warning, they also include right here with the new alert. Let's see what that is.
Yeah, let's see what that new alert is. Yeah, like you said, Vitas, that is actually a particularly dangerous situation that the National Weather Service talked about. And a new warning, it looks like a new warning or an extension of the old one now issued until 3 p.m. For a potential observed tornado. And again, this is also a particularly dangerous situation encompassing all of Okeechobee County, Okeechobee, Osceola, and also parts of western Indian River County. Weather Service saying a tornado warning remains in effect, particularly dangerous situation. You don't often see that whenever you have that purple outline. That means it looks like something has been observed on the ground and it's going to be moving north, and it's something that you really need to pay very close attention to. It's a life-threatening situation. Again, we're talking about the flying debris. We saw that with a correlation coefficient. We'll come back to that in a moment. Mobile homes can be destroyed in this situation. This tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mainly rural areas of Okeechobee, southwestern Indian River, and Osceola County until, again, 3 o'clock this afternoon. You definitely want to be in your safe space at this point and not be outside with this, again, this particularly dangerous situation. The tornado warning in effect until 3 p.m. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located 7 miles east of Basinger, moving north at 35 miles per hour. So again, confirmed. That means somebody most likely has spotted this particularly dangerous tornado across that part of the area.
Yeah, so we have a lot of activity here. So if we could, we still have several tornado warnings. Let's go back down where we're in more populated also area real quick. Back down to the one just south of the Tradition area, heading up towards St. Lucie, these areas. So we still have this tornado warning for folks right here. And we're starting to get up along I-95. So this is coming into, now this is a new update coming in. You can see this is coming up just near I-95 where Port St. Lucie, the exit there, as you go into Port St. Lucie. This is until 2:45 p.m. for Martin County, St. Lucie County. That means Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, and River Park. You are under a tornado warning. There is good rotation in this cell right along I-95. If the control room could find maybe a camera right up there near that exit, FDOT, I know they're on it. If they're able to find something there, we can kind of poke around and see if we have any images. If you guys get any, just throw it up for us. But nonetheless, it looks like what we're seeing here is the potential of some rotation up here right up there where you get off at Port St. Lucie, and there's a lot of homes, there's a lot of businesses. Yeah, there's a lot of business homes. We're over near Tradition, a lot of new development. Like I was saying earlier, we're just in the very beginning of a lot of snowbirds coming down here, and a lot of new development out there for folks who are just moving here in the last year or two, just kind of settling into the Floridian lifestyle. And this is part of the lifestyle you're going to have to start getting used to every season as far as hurricane season and then the threat of tornadoes. So this is one of the concerns we have in this area here. Okay, we're looking at I-95, and we can see that those dark clouds, a lot of rain out there as we're looking at some of the heavy downpours of rain in those areas. Once again, we're tracking a potential tornado warning, potential of a storm that could be producing a tornado. And we're looking at, this is a little bit further north. This is in the northwest corner of Indian River. So we're looking at Indian River County, and this is in Brevard County. This is going until in Osceola County until 3 p.m. Radar indicated potential of rotation. Now, sometimes what you can see in those cells is that little hook. So you're seeing right here a little bit of a hook going on. So down in this cell right here, we have an inflow notch, and then there's an outflow, and you get that rotation. You can kind of see spinning there. Lots of lightning in this cell. We have a lot of lightning. Sometimes that indicates that storm is actually intensifying. And Michael, when you see that, we have another alert if you see whatever that tornado
I know they just keep coming fast and
they
furious.
keep coming. Let's zoom out. Let's get a kind of big picture here and see how many we got, and we'll zoom down to each one if we're looking in our areas.
Again, mostly along the Treasure Coast, you notice, not in Palm Beach County, but let's see, we're counting how many polygons. So we got one there in St. Lucie County, northern Martin, another one in western parts of Martin County, that's 2. It looks like we have 2 overlapping in Okeechobee County, and also in Indian River County, we've got the 2 of them. And again, the latest one I think that was issued was in the northwest corner of Indian River County, and this is going until 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Right.
Again, mostly in your Blue Cypress Lake. This one is radar indicated, and that's going to be moving out of our viewing area soon. It looks like in Osceola County. But you'll notice there is certainly a lot of lightning associated with these. Typically, when you get tornadoes, one of the precursors is lightning. You can see 79 lightning strikes there in the last 10 minutes or so. We're also seeing areas further off towards the south, again, also continuing to produce tornadoes, but not quite as much lightning for the ones in Okeechobee County. And the other one, the one I think, though, Vitas, that we're most concerned with is the one that's heading up there towards the Port St. Lucie vicinity.
Yeah.
This one right here. And as we zoom in, you'll notice some of these boxes kind of come into view and away, so we need to zoom in tight to this box to see that this particular tornado warning is in effect until 2:45 for Indian River States, Port St. Lucie, and also the River Park area. And again, this has a fair amount of rotation, and let's see if we can't
right here.
Put, we're going to put, I think, like you said, the correlation coefficient.
And this could have hail in it, too.
It could have hail.
When you see that purple and that white, that means turbulence. And sometimes when you have that turbulence, and a lot of lightning out ahead of it near Walton, River Parks, Port St. Lucie. So you're going to switch over to a correlation coefficient.
Correlation coefficient there. So, yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that this is some debris there. When you see differing color, the more uniform the colors are, the more close to the red, the chances of debris are low. But when you see these differing colors, that means different shapes and sizes that the radar beam is, bouncing off of, and there could be some things flying, maybe like dirt. Perhaps it could be leaves. It could just be dust in the air. It could be more than that. But again, it's hard to say right now.
Yeah, so this would be a very dangerous situation, folks. So just inside I-95, we're seeing some decent rotation. Now, it shows a little different, shifts a little bit further. When you look at the correlation coefficient, that means things could be blowing out that direction as far as picking it up. But what we're seeing is the close banding here of possible rotation right near the I-95 Port St. Lucie exit. And then you have just to the west of that, you have your Tradition neighborhoods and all that. So folks who live over in these areas, definitely take shelter. You can have their TV on, listen to our voices. You don't have to go outside. We appreciate, don't get me wrong, we appreciate pictures. We appreciate video, but we'd rather have you safe versus you going outside saying, let me get a picture of this. This looks so cool. Oh my gosh, things could be blowing around. So just understand, we want you to be safe. We get it. We know it's cool. A lot of social media, people want to post, they get numbers and all that. We don't care about that. We want you to be safe. So we want you to make sure you follow your guidance of your, use the best intuition, go to the internal portion of your house and take care of you and your family. Because remember, this side of the state is not evacuating. We're staying put in our homes, and we have to use our homes as a fortress. And you think of your home as your fortress, what do? you do with your family. You protect it. So you want to go to the interior portion of your house and move away, get your animals, your dogs, your cats, whatever. Make sure you are interior portion of your house, a bathroom, a closet, because that's what's important. That's what's the most important thing to us. So once again, in this area, you have to, well, this is an interesting model. This includes a basement, I know, but this is what we got. But it's one of those things where we don't have basements down here. Generally in the Midwest, when I worked in Indianapolis, this is what we had. You could go to a basement. Maryland, I worked in Baltimore, they had basements. But when you come down here in Florida, some parts of the country don't have basements. You're on a slab. So X that down here out. You have to go somewhere like a bathroom where you have under a stairway, or if you have a two-story house, if you're only on a single floor, you go to an interior closet. You got a pantry. You got something, because if you are in your living room, you have big, broad windows looking at a pool or in a backyard, and that something hits that or glass and it breaks, and that's coming in at 70, 80 mile an hour winds pushing it or greater, you can get injured. So that's why we always talk about these areas being the locations you go. So the lowest floor of your house, if you're on a two-story house, you go to the main floor, and then you go to an interior portion of your house. So back to the tornado warnings. You can see a lot in the pretty much pot here, just brewing out there. And it looks like what we're seeing here is we got tornado warning still for western portions of Martin County. Just west of Indiantown. I think the threat level has diminished quite a bit there. But what we're looking at is St. Lucie County have concern with that. But then also what we have in Okeechobee County, we're looking at that expiring in the city of Okeechobee. But north of you, up near Eagle Island, these areas, Bassinger, those areas have the threat potential there. Northwest corner of Indian River County crossing into up towards a little further Okeechobee, you see Osceola, then you got Brevard County. And there's a lot of lightning, thunder, rain, and you don't want to be out driving in this. Better to be home and stay sturdy. Michael?
Yeah, you're right. You just mentioned the lightning there, Vitas, and you can see the clusters of lightning on the radar associated with these tornadic supercells out there, mostly across Indian River County right now, just west of the Sebastian area, south of Blue Cypress Lake. Dozens and dozens of lightning strikes continue across parts of Indian River County right now. And then further to the south, within some of those other tornado warnings, we're looking at lightning across parts of Okeechobee County, a big cluster of lightning with this cell there in St. Lucie County near Port St. Lucie, and up there towards Fort Pierce and out west towards the Cana vicinity. So yeah, a lot of lightning associated with this. And we've been talking about the velocity display as to where we think the tornadoes are. And right now, this display that we see in St. Lucie County with this tornado warning, which expires at 2:45 this afternoon, it looks like we do see a fairly decent couplet here where you see red against green, and that implies a rotation on the radar. And this cell is moving to the north, it looks like, at a speed of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So as this continues to head off towards the north, it will be impacting some of those towns across northern parts of St. Lucie County, heading off to the north towards Carlton and Fort Pierce, heading into Carlton at 2:30 and heading into Fort Pierce, it looks like, at 2:45 this afternoon. So other warnings, again, that we continue to track for you, other tornado warnings. We're taking a live look at, it looks like this is Midway Road, I think, in the Port St. Lucie vicinity, according to our producer. And you can see it is really pouring. This is one of the traffic cameras. The rain is coming down. It looks like there's a lot of water on the roadway right now. And you really want to go slowly if you do encounter something that's, you don't want to drive out on this, certainly. But if you do encounter this, slow down. Just ease your foot off the gas pedal. Don't try to apply your brakes all that much, because that could cause you to hydroplane. You notice the visibility is reduced at the present time. Midway Road, one of those areas that, again, is under that tornado warning. And again, this warning in effect until 2:45. It includes Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, the River Park area, and this tornado warning, again, continues to move north right now, working its way through Port St. Lucie, heading up towards Carlton, and also into the Fort Pierce vicinity. Also, we had a report, I'm looking at the National Weather Service chat over in Okeechobee County, of a confirmed tornado in Okeechobee at 2:11 this afternoon. Emergency managers confirmed the tornado on the ground, and that is near the Dixie Ranch Acres vicinity, which is is way up in the northern sections
Oh, yeah, you
of
see it right there.
Okeechobee County. You can
There's
see
two.
a clear hook.
Two.
Two clear hooks.
Two clear hooks.
Yeah,
That's why
one
that's
there.
broad.
There's just northeast of Basnerger, and another one in the Eagle Island vicinity. So, yeah, this is, again, this tornado warning, Vetus, is a particularly dangerous situation where we're pretty much confirming that a tornado was spotted on the ground again by emergency managers, or perhaps someone called into the EOC and said, hey, we see a tornado. And so it's not just radar indicated, it is a confirmed tornado moving from south to north through Okeechobee County. I mean, if there's any ray of hope here, is that a lot of these tornadoes have been occurring mostly in low populated areas, rural areas. Now, not to say there aren't folks there, but you know, they're not as populated as areas like near Port St. Lucie,
right,
where this storm is that we see right now on the radar, right now where we see near Port St. Lucie and Carlton. So this one here in St. Lucie County may be causing some damage as we speak. So we hope not, but again, this is also, this one, it looks like is radar indicated in St. Lucie County.
Yeah, just north of downtown Port St. Lucie. You see near Carlton, all of that activity, and here's a live look. We're looking, this one here is Fort Pierce. And we can see that in Fort Pierce, there's a lot of lightning and thunder going on up there, but they're definitely going to. But one thing you notice, look at that road. How many people you see out on the road right now? That concerns me.
Not too
kinda.
many.
Where
That's
do you
good.
got to go?
Well, I guess schools are closed.
But
some people are always going to want to drive around on this no matter what.
You don't want French fries at this moment. I'm craving this. It's like kind of one of those things. Look, stay home, do the smart thing. It's better to be, you go out, get your things, and just be safe at home versus you might be caught in a car or something that just, if we get some flooding or something like that. But, it kind of concerns me. We do have a lot of folks on the roadway out there. As you can see, this is a live look. You can see all that lightning and thunder. And sometimes people say, oh, it's just a little rain. We're in Florida. We get thunderstorms and things like that. Yes, I agree. It can be, a little bit stir crazy sitting at home all day, but better to be home. Just kind of let the storm ride out and just kind of monitor and know that you're in a safe location where you could just kind of take shelter if you have to. But that's me on my soapbox. But nonetheless, here's what we have to watch. We get tornado warnings here. If you choose to go out in your car and you need to leave your car because it becomes a missile, basically, the tornado can lift your car. We've seen video of them flipping cars very easily if there's one on the ground. You don't want to be caught in that. But that's a reality of what these things can do. And they pop up relatively quickly with these storms. So we see Carlton moving north, and we have the timelines looking at arrival at 2:33 in Carlton, 2:49 in, Sunland Gardens. So if you are in these areas, you want to probably definitely take shelter. Lots of lightning and thunder. You don't want to be out in these storms. We're looking at some pretty good rotation in this cell here, right near the Carlton area, and that's just off the highway from I-95. You got the big bend up there going up towards Orange Avenue in Fort Pierce, so you have that big curvature up there. And remember, there's going to be a lot of rain with this, so like Michael was saying, you got to be careful. We do not want you to hydroplane. A lot of rain. Look at all the lightning coming down in this thing.
Yeah, a lot of lightning.
This thing is just charged up. I mean, the atmosphere, when you step outside earlier, we both were talking to each other, and we said, let's go take walks earlier in the morning just to kind of, calm before the storm, and you could feel the atmosphere. It was hot.
Moist, tropical, yeah, we got that tropical moisture, and that's kind of adding, I think, Vetus, to the instability of the air.
Exactly.
Along with the wind shear and creating all these tornadoes. It's crazy,
Yeah, in the neighborhood, I said, let's just go out and just grab some air. I thought I was going to walk about an hour. I did about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I said, it's just too hot out here, and that's helping fuel these storms. So all that lightning that you see, we are getting a very strong southerly component, and you have a nice overlayer of air that's creating a little rotation from that strong low of Milton well off to the west, several hundred miles west. In fact, let's peg how far away from this point we are with our measuring tool to the center of circulation of Milton. If you zoom out,
we'll do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we could see, and that tells you the force and velocity.
I think I checked is about like 245 miles from West Palm Beach.
So if you
but there is the eye. Again, kind of rotating in the bands. They've been pretty numerous so far today. From West Palm Beach is about 215 miles.
Okay.
From Vero Beach, 205, and from Boca about 208 miles. So 200 miles away, and this is the damage is causing the warnings this afternoon.
Yeah. So you can see how far away you can be from the center of that eye and what you get in those rain bands. That's the real concern I have. Yes, our winds will pick up. Yes, we'll get tropical storm force winds to the north in Indian River County, St. Lucie County, and also in Okeechobee County. You're under hurricane warnings because you might be closer to where that center of circulation comes on shore, maybe up north of you. You may get those overnight into tomorrow morning, but we're sitting at, 2:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, 200 plus miles away, and we're getting cranking tornado warnings and on the ground tornadoes that can be at least, when you look at those videos we've seen, those are at least EF2 strength.
Yeah, and that's a good point there, Vitas. And it looks like the Weather Service chat has got more confirmed tornado reports right now. Emergency managers reported a confirmed tornado actually flipped a truck on I-95 at mile marker 109. So if the producers and
Storm
directors in the
tracker,
booth
head on
hear
up.
that,
There
head
you
on
go.
up, or if there's some kind of cameras you can find in Martin County, again, a tornado flipped the truck on 95 at mile marker 109. Perhaps we can call some of the sheriffs up there or send someone up there to get some video. This occurred at 2:02 this afternoon. That's one report. And then another report reporting a tornado on the ground near I-95 and Southwest Becker Road. This is in the Port St. Lucie area. That was moving north, and trees reported down in that area. So numerous confirmed tornadoes out there, Vitas.
Zoom back down to that one over near Carlton, and that's the one that we're talking about.
This is the one, right? This is one where we had the trees down and reported, and probably the same one that reported that caused the truck to flip on I-95 and came out of Martin County and is now moving off to the north. Again, the one with a lot of lightning. So let's see if we can take a look at the velocity once again here to see exactly where this system is right now, where we see the best rotation. Very good signature there. Look at this.
Yeah.
You can see right where that green dot just east of Carlton.
Yeah,
It looks like if we can pinpoint it, perhaps near the Turnpike and I-95, we are seeing
right there.
the green dot and the red right there.
So right there. Now the image will look a little different from each representation you use with radar, just a tad bit, but it's right here where you see it between the toll road and Carlton. So if we did have a tornado that was moving up, kind of going up I-95, and you have these big box trucks, you get slammed with very strong winds. They'll just knock and tumble those trucks right off the road.
Yeah, the panel trucks, they're large, I would say, large, and the wind just hits it just right, it's going to blow the thing over.
100%. And so these are the concerns we have. And when I'm looking at all those people out in St. Lucie County, that is the concern we have with these tornadoes. And there will be more warnings that may be issued later tonight. We still have a long road to go. We have a lot more rain bands going in. So once again, tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County, Martin County, for Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, these areas until about 2:45, as we have these potential of tornadic activity moving through your area, especially right here up near Carlton. If you live in these areas, there may be already some damage. They said there's trees down. There's some damage that we've already seen. A lot of lightning associated with this storm. No reason to be out in that. There's going to be, of course, these tornadoes at EF0, EF1, 2 can definitely indicate that. So we got another one behind my back.
We got another tornado warning going on right now. Let's see where this is. This is in effect for actually now Palm Beach County until 3:15. Okay. So let's go back down here. And we're kind of fearing this. Here you go. This is one of those big tropical rain bands that's been rotating up from Broward, and this is in effect until 3:15. Right now, this is a radar indicated tornado as it's moving off to the north. Let me call up the advisory here from the Weather Service. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 9 miles northwest of Loxahatchee or 12 miles west of Wellington, moving north at 45 miles an hour, really booking along pretty fast. Locations impacted, Vitas, could include Lion Country Safari and the Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge. Again, mostly a rural area, but Lion Country Safari, we got a lot of animals in there that, obviously sensitive to this. So hopefully the folks out there are kind of keeping a look at this. You can see the hook echo.
Right there's a hook echo. So what we mean by hook echo, folks, is that means when you see a lot of these storms, they're going to have some type of rotation because this is the entire thunderstorm, and it's moving north at 45 miles per hour. Now, near the base of that storm, you're going to get an inflow. There's going to be air kind of being pulled into that storm, and it's going to take that air aloft, and then you're going to get a tornado, usually on the, we call rear flanking downdraft, so RFD. So we're looking at on the rear flanking downdraft, you're going to get that rotation, and then you could possibly get a tornado. So it might be a funnel cloud now, but it could be making a touchdown shortly. Now, our crew in the control room, if you're able to look anywhere near 20 Mile Bend or Wellington looking on 441 that way, there may not be really a lot of camera action out there, but we might, it's so flat, sometimes you may get a camera sitting near Wellington that's looking that direction. You might pull up the skyline, but we could see in a moment. But I'm gonna let Michael talk about this for a second, and We'll see
Yes.
if we can pull up. I'm going to look at the camera.
Well, it looks like we got another tornado warning for north central Palm Beach County. This, and again, in effect until 3:15 this afternoon. So that's the one warning we have right there. Again, this includes Lion Country Safari. Fortunately, just to the west of Wellington, but this could move into Jupiter Farms, it looks like, and other areas further north up towards the Palm Beach and Martin County line. Again, we're looking at, we're going to look at the reflectivity because, again, the way we're looking at this particular cell, there's a very good signature of what we call a hook echo. Now, it looks like that hook echo is not as clearly defined, but some of the roadways include Southern Boulevard. You're going to get hit by this 20-mile bend, Lion Country Safari. We are looking at a modest amount of lightning, not all that much. But again, this is a tornado warning that's in effect until 3:15 this afternoon for, again, southern sections of Palm Beach County. So take cover there, Lion Country Safari, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. You want to avoid windows. You don't want to be outdoors in a mobile home, or if you're in a vehicle, you probably just want to stay in the vehicle, or if you can, move it to a shelter. Please do that. Move to the closest substantial shelter, and you want to protect yourself from flying debris. So that, again, is the latest tornado warning that is in effect for the viewing area. We're going to kind of click this off right here, take a look at what's going on. Other tornado warnings, again, in effect for the St. Lucie County area and Okeechobee County. The one they're most concerned with right now is this one that has all the lightning associated with it right now, moving through Carlton and Indian River States. We've had reports of a semi that was flipped over on mile marker 109 in Morton County, and also trees down, and a confirmed spotter of a tornado, someone that was kind of just driving along I-95. And again, a very clear signature on the radar of the red against the green, where the winds are going in opposing directions. And this, again, is, again, a particularly dangerous situation, I would say, again, because we have had the tornado that was reported on the ground by a spotter and also flipping a truck. So this is moving north at 30 miles an hour. Heads up Fort Pierce. This is coming your way at 249. Sunland Gardens at 253. Heading into St. Lucie Village at 257. And Queens Cove at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Associated with just a crazy amount of lightning here. As you'll notice, the lightning stretches, well east of where the rotation is, including Hutchinson Island. Fort Pierce, you're getting the lightning. The St. Lucie Inlet, a heck of a lot of lightning as well, with this particular cell as it heads off towards the north and the east. Also some torrential downpours as well. We got a live look at, where is this, everybody? This is Fort Pierce, it looks like. Port St. Lucie, I'm sorry. Again, near where this tornado... Fort Pierce, driving to Port St. Lucie. Looks like an intersection right there. We see the traffic lights green. People are moving along. It doesn't look too bad in this area. Again, we really discourage driving because of the fact that you're under a hurricane warning up there in St. Lucie County. The winds haven't been too bad right now, but under some of these tornado warnings, you can get much stronger winds than the forecasted winds, which are supposed to be forecasted to 20 to 30 miles an hour this afternoon. So we've got a storm tracker or a viewer that's driving along here. The streets are wet. You can see the wiper blades are going with a moderate amount of rain. Now, this is in an area which is in the northeast part of the tornado warned area. So if this person's driving southwest to Port St. Lucie, they're going to have to watch it because, again, that tornado warned cell, Vetus, is kind of encroaching upon that area near Carlton and heading to the north. Could be probably, moving into the western parts of Fort Pierce soon.
Right. So as we continue to track this very closely, you can see that we do have a lot of activity out there, all kinds of tornado warnings. We have our tracker that's out there on the roadways, and we keep getting updated tornado warnings that are in the region. And this one, once again, we're looking at a tornado warning for Martin and St. Lucie County, Indian River Estates, Port St. Lucie, and River Park until about 2:45, as we've been continuing to track continuous lines of showers, lines of rain. These are the rain bands associated with the center of Milton, which is over 200 miles to the west, 210 miles to the west. And this thing still is cranking along, spinning up the atmosphere. And this was the main concern that I had, what we were talking about over the last couple of days as we were talking about the potential threat for our area. It will be more so, not so much, we could get some flooding, some isolated downpours because the ground is saturated. You get some wind gusts, that might take some trees down, limbs down, but also it can create some power outages. So you zoomed in here, and where are we at?
So we're we're looking at the Melbourne radar right now. So
Yeah.
this tornado warning in effect till 2:45. So as we look in, really zoom in on the street levels because we want to make sure we know exactly, or let our viewers know. Just right along I-95 and 712. It looks like where we see the green and the red couplets.
Just off of Okeechobee Road.
Yeah, just
there.
off of Okeechobee Road.
And the turnpike.
Just south of Okeechobee Road. If we zoom out a little bit, so this looks like it's just to the north of Carlton and also to the south and west of Fort Pierce. Okay, and obviously outside of the Port St. Lucie vicinity right now. Again, what we're looking at is the velocity. We're seeing bright green against bright red, which is a very strong. We don't normally see signatures which are this strong on our radar, but this is air going away from the radar site. That's the red. The green is air rushing towards the radar site. So if they're very close together, that means there's a rotation. And again, we've had this report of a confirmed tornado. According to one of our emergency managers, we also had a report, someone driving along I-95 along the St. Lucie County area of, a confirmed tornado on the ground. We also had a report of a truck which was flipped at mile marker 109 in Martin County as the cell has moved from south to north out of that area. So we're trying to effort pictures from our traffic cams to give you more information regarding this. Now, we do have other reports. We've had other videos of tornadoes earlier today, Vitas.
Yeah, and so this one really, the concern is, like you said, right there near I-95. It's kind of like if you remember, or you've been driving up here. You see where the toll road and I-95 cross? This is the latest swipe here. You can see the sweeping, taking it up near Okeechobee Road, I-95, right to the east of that.
Perhaps a weakening signature?
Yeah, Okeechobee Road. You can see right here. This is where we have that rotation. Definitely a funnel cloud. Possibly could have been a quick, brief touchdown, but still, like I said, there's possibility of a tornado in this area. So once again, we do have a tornado warning. We have another update. Here we go.
Here comes another
until 3:15. So it looks like they've extended that.
Let's see where this tornado warning is in effect for. This
is going to continue to update.
This is for the one it looks like up north in Indian River, Okeechobee, and Osceola County. So a little hard to see which one. The one that's flashing purple.
If you zoom out just a bit here, you see the extension, or this one they're just updating right here, flashing. So that's going up towards Vero Beach. So it looks like they're including it with Fort Pierce. We have a tornado warning for Fort Pierce. And if we kind of move the map down a little bit where, okay, so you see River Park, and we're going from about right here where Cana is, Fort Pierce, you're under this tornado warning. And you can see that image behind me, or just the other screen there, Michael. Look at all that heavy rainfall.
Yeah,
it is not a ton of people on the roads, but for the ones that are out there, boy, that rain's coming down. Hard to see, a lot of, challenging visibility. But the concern is if we do get a quick spin up that does a touchdown, these are populated areas. So we're talking about Fort Pierce, these areas up near Fort Pierce along the coastal region, A1A, I-95 stretching up in these regions. So this tornado warning has been extended further north.
Yeah, right. And this is St. Lucie County there, Vita says. Let's go back to the pictures if we can. And, you never really want to drive out in this. We've seen pictures of people. We've seen this in like Palm Beach Gardens, a tornado a couple years ago. Remember, we had that thing completely flipping around. So you really do not want to be outside. I know perhaps these people probably drove and they weren't aware of it. But, you get that advisory on your smartphone. You get the alert, the tone. It's time to head inside. It's even if you're far from home, try to go to a structure. Try to go inside a big box retailer or just any kind of building until the warning has passed by your area, because it's definitely dangerous, not just for the potential for a tornado hitting your vehicle, but also because of this, the visibility. I mean, look how much it's pouring out there. Everybody has their lights on. You could easily hydroplane if you're going fast. The very least thing you should do is obviously take your foot off the gas and slow down. Don't hit your gas or brake suddenly, because you could hydroplane in this situation.
Yeah, best to bet not to be out in this. But nonetheless, if you are in these areas, and I think maybe let's start off with the tornado warning down over Palm Beach County, western Palm Beach County, and we'll work our way north, and we'll hit each one here so we can kind of give everybody an update on what we're seeing here. So we got another alert here behind my back.
Yeah, that one now, that alert, Vitas, that's the latest one that came out.
Okay.
That's for northeast Okeechobee, western Indian River County, and they're calling this a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. Let's go up to that.
Yeah, let's go. That's the one that
was located 7 miles northeast of Fort Drum, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So we're talking about the northern part of this area right here.
Osceola Junction.
Way up there. Again, a very rural area. This is kind of the ranch land of northern parts of Okeechobee County, but it's particularly dangerous. They say take cover now. There's a damaging tornado. Again, emergency managers have confirmed a tornado in this area. The Weather Service calling this a life-threatening situation with, again, the reminders of flying debris, and if you're outside, you want to move inside. Again, a rural area, but nevertheless.
A lot of ranches up in this area
Yes.
and rural area. I mean, cows and trees, but nonetheless, there's people there. There you can see it.
Very,
well-defined.
very sharp signature.
Very
Again,
sharp
a signature you'd see in the Midwest.
Yeah, this could be
Look at
like, when
this.
you see a signature like this is like EF2, maybe EF3. I mean, this is a pretty good sized tornado. Like when you see this on the ground, this is a pretty good size.
And some of these winds, I mean, let's
Yeah.
just sample some of these winds. 67 miles an hour
Oh,
over
yeah.
there. The brighter the colors, the higher the winds, 40.
Yeah.
So that's a very large difference in wind, indicating perhaps a very fast rotation. Again, this in northern sections of Okeechobee County. Now, fortunately, this is going to be moving out of our viewing area into Osceola County soon.
Yeah, and it's real rural up here, which
Yes,
is
it
open
is.
land. A lot of open land. We feel bad that folks have ranches in this
Yeah,
area.
I know.
but
Cows, I
and
mean,
everything,
that's
the horses.
a problem,
but
sure.
If they're
Horses.
hankering down at their ranch, make sure you take shelter. I mean, it doesn't make your threat any less. Your people up there in the ranch, you should take shelter. But nonetheless, this is the kind of scene when you see it look that bright, you definitely have strong rotation, a pretty good size tornado on the ground.
So we'll get, we clicked the little advisories to make sure we have them. So that's exactly, that's the situation. So like you said, let's head on south here and see what other tornado warnings that we
Okay,
have in
Palm Beach
effect right now.
County, let's
take a-
see if...
The Palm Beach County one, yeah, that's one we had a little while ago. So this is the one that is now crossing, it looks like over Southern Boulevard, near 20 Mile Bend, the Southern Boulevard area, fair amount of lightning. This again is radar indicated. This is not a confirmation here from emergency managers or spotters, but this tornado is heading off to the northeast, this radar rotation tornado. And again, this warning in effect until 3:15,
And this
which
is
is
affecting
another
folks out in
25
kind of
minutes.
a lightly populated area, but it's still kind of just west of the acreage and Loxahatchee. So if you're
Right.
in those areas, you know, right where 20 Mile Bend is, we're seeing rotation, not as strong of a signature as
Right.
what we saw before, but nonetheless, this has rotation in it. Could be a funnel cloud, could be something that could touch down. So this is for Palm Beach County until 3:15, and that's the warning we have there. What's
Okay.
the one north again, up in St. Lucie? Martin, St.
And
Lucie?
here's yet another tornado warning, it looks like, now just issued for the northwest corner of Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
For Clewiston and Lake Harbor, this is in effect until 3:15 this afternoon. For Vaughn, probably coming into Lake Harbor, Clewiston area, more rotating band just coming in. It looks like we've also got one in effect for southwest parts of Palm Beach County. I mean, Vitas, this is where
the
it all
second
started
round.
this morning.
Wait,
This is like
this
deja
morning,
vu.
this is the areas that were really...
So round two for them.
This is round 2 or 3, because they already saw near Clewiston tornado warnings earlier this morning around 10, around 10 o'clock, 10:30, and that went through their area. Now we have a pretty good signature right here. If you're in the Clewiston area, now you know how Route 27 runs right along the base of Lake Okeechobee, along the big berm there, as far as that roadway taking you into Clewiston, you should be taking shelter immediately. You should be taking shelter immediately. So this was from earlier today, as far as when we saw the tornado that was actually
Powerful,
the one that kind of went up that direction, crossed I-75. I believe that's the video we saw. So we're going to continue more coverage, and we're going to pitch it to Liz and Jim with some more information.
Yeah, we're
Guys?
just watching this video like you are out of Clewiston. I mean, that's huge
Yeah.
and very impressive.
Hey, we were talking earlier, it's fortunately not a lot out there. And the one over, I don't believe this, there was one over in Alligator Alley, that area earlier today.
that different video. Those
looked
were
like
from
it-
traffic cameras.
Yeah, so these are pretty defined. You kind of explained to us, these are starting to spin up. How does the hurricane actually, is the conditions just right for this type of situation where you've got a lot of these tornadoes just turning up?
Yeah, Jim, I guess it's an ideal situation. You know, typically when hurricanes are out in the Gulf, a couple hundred miles away, you get a lot of twisting and turning of the winds in the atmosphere. Right now, the winds near the ground are out of the south-southeast, but the winds at 5,000 feet are out of the south, and then maybe at 10,000 feet, they're out of the southwest. And that's what we call wind shear, where the winds are switching direction as you go up in the atmosphere. They're shifting speeds rapidly, and that can cause a rotation aloft, and then that can kind of kind of manifest itself down on the ground. We're also getting some weak, what we call instability, where there's a little bit of sunshine out there. The ground is heating up, not as much as it would in the summer, but it's heating up just enough for the air parcels to rise, and then also getting involved with that shear. It's called storm relative helicity, where we get this twisting and turning winds with height. So, the perfect scenario for this, what I would call a tornado outbreak. I mean, I've been here for 25 years or more, and I've never seen this many tornadoes that have occurred, and certainly not this many tornado warnings.
And Michael, that's a good point. I mean, this is significant. Vitas, we talk about the strength of these. In Kansas and places in the Midwest, you see EF5s. These are not quite that powerful.
Yeah.
We had one in Palm Beach Gardens, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was significant. I can't remember.
EF2.
It was a small one, but it was enough to create some real damage.
That was the one that flipped the cars on the highway.
Exactly.
That video.
So like EF2, EF1, we had one down in Delray, if you remember, a quick touchdown and did some damage.
We are getting a lot of reports into the newsroom, though, of damage, like along I-95 near Becker Road is one, damage at Newport Isles in Port St. Lucie, south of Gatlin near Sam's Club. They're talking about trees down, roof damage, power outages. So, we're seeing some video of these tornadoes, and you guys are showing us on the radar, but we're getting confirmation from viewers that there is damage.
And that is the concern, because these storms, like Michael was saying, will have that potential for us to get that type of intensity. It's usually, generally, we would see with hurricanes, they will be like EF0, a quick EF1, like on the weaker side of the scale. But with these type of storms that have that kind of strength and the type of lift that we're seeing and rotation in the upper atmosphere, your tornado potential the threat is higher, the threshold's higher. And that's why our concern more for our areas is it's not storm surge for us. It's not going to be really down in our area. The tropical storm force winds may knock some branches, break some limbs, and take some power out here or there. It's the tornadoes that are really going to be the issue for our area as we're going through this storm. So we're going to continue to have to track this. We're going to have much more as we go through the afternoon. This is a very volatile situation for our area.
Michael, we talk about also, we're very cautious about calling it a tornado until we get confirmation. Talk about that process. Sometimes it actually takes somebody on the ground to see it or to go out there and see if there's damage.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that, Jim. Most of the time, our tornado warnings here in South Florida are what we call radar indicated. The Weather Service looks at certain parameters like we're looking at here at the Weather Center. They see some rotation aloft that may be 5,000 or 7,000 feet, and a tornado could touch down along the ground. This situation, though, we're getting numerous confirmations of tornadoes, whether it's an emergency manager seeing it, whether it's a trained spotter on the ground. Like I talked about earlier, the guy just driving along I-95, seeing the tornado, and then calling it in. We've gotten video of from traffic cameras. That's also confirmation. So confirmation from the traffic cams, individual spotters, emergency managers, police officers, the video that we're seeing all over the place. So numerous confirmed tornadoes. So obviously this is a situation that's unusual. And not exactly unprecedented, but very rare. We have not seen so many confirmed tornadoes over the same afternoon, it looks like, which is just incredible here.
Mm-hmm.